This man would have no problem dragging me off to a dungeon. And you slide me in a tiny little area where I barely fit. I'm claustrophobic, so it starts to freak me out. My shoulders are big and burly. That's why you're afraid. And why do my hands need to go behind my back? Why do I have to be completely debilitated? They treat me like total crap. I can't look at them in the eyes. I have to look at the floor. And then if I give any kind of resistance and don't give them full dominion over my fingers as they fingerprint me, then what happens next is they slam my head into the wall. That's happened to me once. Every day, 100 emails of people saying, please help me. I got this jackboot thug pig here in Texas. I got a guy in LA. I got a story on camera. He got picked up for not paying traffic ticket. He's now HIV positive. It's not just one or two, and it's not a few bad apples. You have bad apples on this police department. I'm not going to a dungeon because this pig over here and this pig over here want to drag. I mean, look at the terror flag he's wearing. Look at the terror flag he's wearing. Video. What happened?
That's his business, not yours.
My business to ask, though. You know what I mean? I was actually going to drop the cameras and go into Kung Fu mode. Good thing you came back. If you hadn't come back, I was going to Kung Fu, bro. I'm just standing there filming, you know? These guys are so predictable. Such beta male chumpzillas that when you put torture cuffs on someone, you're torturing them.
I appreciate your information.
Well, it might not affect you at all. You might not give a rat's ass about another man. How many cops you guys need? You guys need a few more cops here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get another giant like this one. There's no third party to film cops searching your car. I mean, one time after I became known across the country, then the cops didn't put me in torture cuffs quite as tight. I was in torture cuffs and the guy tried to cut off the blood to my ulnar nerve and my arm. That's why this hand shakes now. That's what he did. He's got his hands on his head like a POW though. You know, I'm not a fan of police, but at the same time, I'll treat you like an individual. Absolutely. Until someone gives me a directive or tries to demand my ID or.
No, so you can't do that in here. You can do it to us all you want.
So let me now let me tell you this: go pound sand. Go pound sand, bro. Jump down on your knees and eat my shorts. I'm filming them right now. What are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it? No, you can't. No, you can't. Go ahead. Now let me educate this dirty jackboot thug pig. You have a First Amendment right to film police. That right does not change when you go into a police lobby. It's right there, the right to film cops. You got people like that who don't know that this is a public forum. I can film in here anytime I'd like. What are you gonna do about it? Well, you're not gonna do a damn thing. And if you do, I'll sue you personally under 1983. And then you'll face federal district court. Or take your happy ass back to your office and flee like a little dog.
That was easy.
Look at this kid. Look at him. Little stick figure they put in a costume.
That one there was a violation. Personally, I wouldn't have it.
This is a kid. I could wipe the green from out behind his ears. Don't do this crap. Was your daddy a pig? Tell me what happened. Retire now, dude. Are you going to physically stop me from doing my job?
I'm not going to physically do that.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to walk around here and take some videos.
Okay.
So if you're done, then head on back.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good day.
Appreciate you.
Okay.
So that was a lie.
Today I just help with pretty good doing that. Calling or mailing
What did he say?
My dad was in the police department from 1946 to 1981. He retired as a shift commander. And I'll tell you what, this fire station was built in 1969. And he was here from 69 to 81. He was a shift commander here. And before that, you know where the big city hall is? When he first started, that city hall was built in about 1955. And the old city hall, he was in there. And then after that, what? Is there anybody I could talk to here?
Huh? Unless they want to come down to the gym.
I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man.
Instead of walking around sighing and breathing hard.
I don't like where this is going.
They're literally colluding together at the front and blocking me from entering.
Come on, man.
Dude, you better grab me while you got that badge on. I'm not going to physically challenge you, dude. Not while you got the badge on and you're working in a security capacity. I'm not going to challenge you. Hey, there we are. There's an officer of the law. I don't go in there and smash that desk and beat everybody up and say, I'll do what I want because I agree to live under a series of laws. I've agreed to that. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I won't violate your rights just like I don't want you to violate mine. I want a matter of record. I'm not willingly walking off. He's telling me if I don't leave that he's going to arrest me. And so as a man of law and order who respects the social contract and the rule of law, I'm going to do what he tells me to, because if I don't do what he tells me, he's going to arrest me. bro. You're not tough at all. With your badge and gun, you got no badge and gun, you're a wuss. Don't get in my face, punk ass.
Excuse me.
Think you're a man with a gun in your hand, don't you?
You're a jack. Thank you for being a good. I'm telling you, dude.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Dude, get your hand off my camera, lady. I'm fired. Your dad's a pig. Your dad is a pig.
Call my dad a pig?
I think your dad's a pig, bro. Are you rude? Get off me, bro. Get off me, bro. You want to attack me? Do it. Go ahead.
No, I'm not.
Go ahead.
Trying to get...
Go ahead. What's the matter? You don't want to be on camera now that you tried to attack me? You can't attack me, dude. You need to get on a stair stepper for a while.
Where is law enforcement?
For law enforcement for what? For having a civil discussion? Name and badge number. Name and badge number. What's your name and badge number? Hey, you have to identify yourself according to policy.
Leave him alone.
No, he has to identify.
No, he doesn't.
Yes,
Leave
he
him
does.
alone. Go back to California and leave them alone.
You're upset because he didn't identify himself.
You can't act in your official capacity and not give your name and badge number. This cop comes out here and starts demanding me around and then threatens me that he's going to come out. Well, then do it. Do it. Put me in torture cuffs. Then I get damages. Right now it'll be a declaratory judgment.
Sure.
He came out and asked me what my name was Dan. I said, I'm not going to tell you my name's Dan or not. And then he said, well, you can't film in here. You're making someone feel uncomfortable. So then I went right over and I put the camera on. The guy said, what are you going to do about it?
Got his name on the back here, and you
Okay.
also have my card with my contact information. We went away from badge numbers because we changed from badge numbers to department
Solomon
seniority.
Aries. Is he a lieutenant,
So
a
that's-
captain, a sergeant? What is Solomon?
He's a police officer.
He's an officer.
Yeah,
Well,
yes, sir.
he should not be promoted. You don't get to not identify and act in your official capacity. And that is worth filing for. It'll take me about 4 hours to write.
Policy not to jump out of people's vehicles.
But you guys killed the battery.
Not allowed to.
Are you going to help her get her car started?
Can't base off my policy.
Off your policy. What's your name and badge number?
For what?
So that you can identify the thousands of people watching.
Why do I need to identify myself?
Because you're an officer on duty, and according to the LVMPD handbook, when someone asks you for your name and badge number, you're supposed to give it.
Based off what?
Your handbook that I've read, that you have not read, obviously. I'm a member of the press. I'm a member of the press. I need to identify you. Okay, I'll do what I do.
I grew up in this town, and this is bullshit.
They were going.
Hey, left the lights on. I can't even steal my car.
If you're gonna one up and you're gonna film the police, you better know what you're gonna say and how you're gonna say it. You have to practice saying it. So when you see a copper, you're gonna run up and you're gonna say, "Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be filming this interaction. I invoke my First Amendment right. You can address me as Mr. Good Citizen." You have to have your stick down. Cop comes up to me and says something. I'm a little bit confused.
You can leave
I'm
our
gonna
scene.
stand
Yes, you
right
can,
here.
sir.
I'm standing in the parking lot. I came to
Sir,
get
would
gas.
you like me to
and you guys,
trespass this individual
you
from your
can't
property?
trespass me, honey. You can't solicit a trespass. Go ahead, let's follow it. Let's see if you're gonna get sued. She's trying to solicit a trespass from owners. It's illegal. You guys are seeing it all over the country. Auditors are getting arrested left and right. And why are they getting arrested? Because they don't have their stick down. They don't have their lingo, their jargon, their mumbo jumbo, and they don't invoke their rights. Now, when the cop comes up to me, the first thing I'm going to say is, I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. What's your name and badge number? Now, I just said that I get to be quiet, and you have to tell me who you are. You see the power in that? You see the power in that? Welcome, everybody, to another rendition of Delete Laws. What's going on out there in the land of the unfree America? How is everybody doing tonight? What is going on? It is Friday night. Do you feel it? Do you feel the Friday night? I have been absolutely slammed. Give me a 5x5 if you can hear me okay. That'd be great. I would appreciate that. Give me a 5x5 if you can hear me okay. That would be absolutely awesome. I would appreciate it so much. Thank you. Oh, Naples, Florida. That's where you're from, huh? Grateful Dabs is here. Knight is here. What is going on? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And we're about to, I'm not going to say anything, but we got something coming up. Just being unfree. Everybody do me a favor. Hit the like button. I know it's Friday night. It's super late on the East Coast. It's 11:45, 11:25, 12:25, 1:30 in the morning on the East Coast. What is up, Playboy? What's up? If you're up this late and you're joining me, thank you. I appreciate it. Listen, we don't stop. I'm just coming on just for a few minutes tonight, just because I know that I'm not going to be able to come on tomorrow. I got a lot of things going on, but I wanted to just say hello and see what was going on out there in the land of the unfree America. Listen, right now I got trifolds down at $12, but I'm going to raise the price back up soon. So if you guys want to get a trifold, for $12. Get them right now because I got to raise the price back up. I don't have a choice. I got no choice. I got to do what I got to do. So I want to show you guys this video. And the thing is that this video right here, this video truly shows what a police state, prison state, death state we are living in. It really, truly shows it. And I wanted to show this to you. I think that this video is about a year old or so. Oh, Mikey, you just got out of the slammer? Oh, no. Are you all right, buddy? Are you all right? So we've got roughly 130 people here across 6 channels. YouTube yesterday suspended Michael Eline for a week, really for no reason. So, you know, I think they're really trying to what is going on, Jim D? How are you, buddy? How is everybody? Florida is the #1 police state. You guys do me a favor. Anthony Serrano says Florida is the #1 police state. Put down in the comment section which state is the biggest police state in the United States of America. Anthony says it's Florida, but can you put down in the comment section which one you think is the biggest police state in the United States? Oh, so that's the other thing. I did start a Patreon account. It's Delete Laws Patreon. I'm showing all the videos. Matter of fact, I've got a bunch of videos going up there on Monday and Tuesday where we cover some really gnarly stuff. But I want you guys to see it. Let's check out a few minutes of this. I'm going to pop back in with you guys. I'm so sorry. Can you guys do me a favor? Can you type in the comment section OTVO, which stands for Overturn Terry versus Ohio? Can you put it in the comment section for me real fast? OTVO. Put it in the comment section for me.
McDonald's, her privilege to be there was in fact revoked. But trespassing is only committed if one refuses to leave or returns after being asked to leave. But here's the thing. Miss Hancock did leave. She was backing out of her parking spot as Sergeant Stanley arrived. But he stopped her and initiated contact. It should also be noted that the call for service was dispatched at 4:40 p.m. and Sergeant Stanley arrived at 4:43 p.m.
Hi, did you have a bad day inside?
No, sir. I went through the drive-thru earlier.
Okay.
She refused to take my dollar to give me 30 cents after I paid it for extra cheese.
Okay.
There was a young lady who was very nice, by the way, before I got introduced to this lady in the burgundy.
Okay.
She asked the lady in the burgundy shirt to remake my sandwich. She comes up to the desk, wanting me to pay her another 30 cents. So 49 plus 30 plus 30. For what when I'm not even getting enough pieces of cheese. You only put one on here when I already paid the 49 cents for the extra piece of cheese. So now you're charging me 60 cents more. So then she got an attitude because I asked her for a refund and called the police because she didn't want to give me back my money. And I told them I'm in a black truck and I'm waiting. Okay. She finally gave me the refund literally 8 seconds before I got in the car and started it up. The problem was all I wanted was to be remade with an extra piece of cheese. She started screaming at me and I'm just like, well, ma'am, she explained it to you. Why won't you go make it? Well, you need to pay me 30 cents. I said, the lady that just came and got the paper already took the 30 cents on top of the 49. Why would I give another 30 cents, which makes it 60 plus 49 cents?
So they've made you whole?
No.
They haven't made you whole?
Well, I mean, yeah, she gave me my money back, so I'm going to go somewhere else. But
right there. Now, if you are someone who's in authority, you realize this whole dust up right now is over a piece of cheese on a sandwich. The whole fight right now is about a piece of cheese on a sandwich. So if you're the person in charge, if I'm in charge and I pull up and this is about a piece of cheese on a sandwich, then I look at her and I go, you got your money back? She goes, I got my money back. I'm going to go somewhere else. Have a nice day. Sorry you had a bad day today. Sorry there was a dust up here. You can go. There's no damages. There's no victim. There's nothing going on here. Two women, and men can do the same thing. Men can get petty where we have a petty argument over a slice of cheese. Put a 1 in the chat if you can be petty. If you can be Brick is here. Put a 1 in the chat if you can be petty. If you're a man or a woman, put a 1 in the chat if you know you can get down to it. Someone pisses you off and you start going back and forth with them over a piece of cheese, right? So when this copper pulls up and she says, I got my money back, this should be over right here. It should be all over right here. She said, you got your money back? She said, I got my money back.
So they've made you whole.
No.
They haven't made you
Well,
whole.
I mean, yeah, she gave me my money back, so I'm gonna go somewhere else. But
Okay.
Perfect.
the problem was she should have just remade it like the lady asked her. I came all the way back here
Okay, so she's still bitching, but have a nice day, lady. Take off.
to get my sandwich. Obviously, I wanted to go home with it. I didn't understand where she got confused at after the lady already said, yeah, just go ahead and remake it. Put a piece of cheese in the middle. She started getting all extra, wanting me to pay her again. No, ma'am, it doesn't work like that. I paid now 3 times for only 1 piece of cheese that I still didn't even get.
Okay.
So she gave me a refund. I'm leaving. She started screaming at me, telling me to have a good day and not to come back here. And I said, I won't.
So you didn't say anything. You was a complete angel.
I know,
I'm getting information. You're getting disorderly
I
at the
sure
store.
did.
Okay. All right.
I did.
So here's what's going to happen. You've been made whole, right? You got your
I'm
money
leaving.
back.
You pulled up. I didn't
Yep.
want you to have to
So,
chase me
so
down
here's
the
what we're
street.
going to do. They want you trespass. They don't.
Who cares?
Just listen. I know. It doesn't mean anything.
It's a McDonald's.
They don't want
can't
you.
even
There's
do it
one
right.
on every corner.
Customers are right. Thank you.
So Miss Hancock voluntarily tells Sergeant Stanley her side of the disagreement. But she is not even required by law to speak to him, period. Especially since the only directives he and Officer Zellers are about to give Miss Hancock are related to trespassing. They do not provide any lawful orders or state any other claims against her other than she was required by law to provide her information for a trespass warning, which is completely false. Everything that happens next is completely unlawful.
Okay.
I won't come back.
Does this
here.
car come back to you?
No, it does not.
Okay. Can I get a driver's license number or something from you, or name
No,
and date of
'cause
birth?
I don't have one.
Well, I'm going to issue a trespass notice, and I have to fill out a piece of paper.
I can
okay?
care less.
Okay.
What you're
I
gonna
just
do.
need some information.
No.
But I
She
do.
gave a description. You can use that, but no,
No.
sir.
So I'm filling out a paper.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
Fill it out.
It's going to have your information on it so that you can't come back on the property.
Who wants to? It's a McDonald's.
I
like you
understand
said,
that,
there's one on
but
the
I have to
corner.
serve you with a piece of
I'm
paper.
not about to give you my info. Sorry.
You are,
just
because
won't
it's a
come back
crime if you don't.
No, it's
Because you're
not.
trespassing.
The crime is her being nasty and won't make my sandwich the way I paid for it. It's my money.
Okay.
That's nasty.
You're going to make it more difficult than it has to be.
If you arrest me, I promise you, you're going to have a problem.
I won't have a problem.
Nasty.
You're going to make it more difficult than it has to be.
If you arrest me, I promise you, you're going to have a problem.
I won't have a problem.
Yes, you will.
No.
No.
I won't have a problem.
Not over a sandwich. Not over a sandwich.
All I want to do is give you.
Wow. How absolutely amazing. The cops are now the arbitrators of whether or not you're going to get more cheese. She said she got more cheese. We want more cheese. You know, you got to get that lip up like Elvis. Got to get more cheese. I'll tell you what right now. You got to get that cheese going. You got to get the cheese. My mind is blowed. Like, why can't the cops say, okay, tell you what, you go ahead and go. Goes into the store and goes, all right, she's gone. Let's let it go for today. Take care. Why can't they just do that? This is some pretty ridiculous stuff here.
I promise you, you're going to have a problem.
I won't have a problem.
Yes, you will.
No.
No.
Oh, I won't have a problem.
I won't have a problem.
Not over a sandwich. Not over a sandwich.
All I want to do is
Right, let it go.
give you a piece of paper.
You have to.
What? There's so many McDonald's out here. For what?
We're okay.
The rude ass bitch.
Now you're getting disorderly. Take it up to another level. Take it up to another level.
Yours down.
I'm fine. I just want to fill out a piece of paper.
For what?
A trespass notice.
She refused to
Are
make.
you going to stop and listen? Or are
Who's
you
going
going
to
to
go in
holler?
there and make her remake my
If you don't
sandwich?
stop,
Nobody.
if you don't stop, you're going to end up going to jail. Stop.
Hancock, Hancock, write it down. So
Calm down.
No, because you're not about to act like
No,
that over a sandwich
stop.
she didn't make right.
Stop. You don't need to go to jail over this.
Exactly.
Okay, so
That's what
calm
I'm saying.
down.
Like over a
You're
fucking
making
sandwich.
you're making us your enemy.
I'm so sorry, Copper. I hate to stop the video. You are the enemy. You're the problem. She was pulling away and leaving. Her entire adventure had begun and ended. She was leaving. You pulled in and pulled her over. You are the enemy, Copper. The cops are the enemy of freedom. The cops are your enemy. Unfortunately, don't call them pigs, but cops are our enemies. Right now, on Friday night, when you drive down the road, what do you have to fear the most? Is it a gangbanger? Is it a roaming wild tire that's fallen off of a car? What do you have to fear the most when you drive down the road tonight? What is it? What is it? I just want to see. Can anybody tell me what is it that you have to fear the most tonight if you drive in your car? There it is. There it is. A Sin City giggles and Liberty got it. The number one thing that we fear in this country are the police because they're Gestapo. They're absolute Gestapo. And then right here, Rising Tides Outreach said, Chili, your answer to why can't they is they can. They just won't because the ego of most cops is the most fragile thing on earth. Spot on. Spot on. And then Brian chimed in with this kind of blurb here. The good cop, bad cop question can be disposed of decisively. We need only consider the following. Every cop agreed as part of his job to enforce laws, all of them. Like Jeff Lloyd always says, if there's a law on the books, there's a cop ready to enforce it. Many of the laws are manifestly unjust. They were created for black people, or even cruel or wicked or despotic. Despotism, base word despotic. Therefore, every cop has agreed to enforcer of laws that are manifestly unjust or even cruel and wicked. Charlie, I'm live, buddy. I'm live, Charlie. let me grab Charlie. I'll be back.
I'm ready. I gave you my info.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I said my last name, Hancock, 3616. Damn. Over a fucking burger that she didn't even make right. That I traveled way far.
Are you going to listen to me? Miss Hancock, what's your first name? The easiest thing to do is just give us your info. We give you a we give you a piece of paper and you don't come back. Then you're free to leave.
I'm trespassed, so I'm not coming back.
So we have to serve you with a criminal trespass notice.
No, you don't.
Yes, by law we do.
You just want
okay,
to
then we're going to arrest you.
Called.
Then we're going to arrest
No,
you.
you're not.
Identify.
No, you're
then
not.
Identify yourself.
No.
Yes.
For what? Over a sandwich?
Stop.
She didn't identify herself.
Yourself or we'll have to arrest you. Now stop.
Over a fucking sandwich?
Yes, over a sandwich. So you're making a bad decision.
Missing every day though. But you coming for me over a burger? Y'all, it's too much.
You're not leaving until you identify yourself.
Bruh, if you don't get the...
You better calm down.
I'm not giving you nothing. I already said it.
Okay, you're under arrest.
No, I'm not.
Oh my God. Turn around and put your hands behind your back. I'm going to chain you up and take you to a cage. I'm going to impound your car, ruin your week, your month, maybe your year. I'm going to ruin you right now because you won't give me your ID when she doesn't have to. She does not have to give ID. She does not have to identify herself.
Put your hands behind your back.
No, I'm not.
You are under arrest for failure to identify.
Don't
put your hands.
Okay, my last name is Hancock. I already told you that.
Behind your back.
No, I don't want to.
Put your hands.
She's giving her information, but in his mind, we're past that now.
I'm telling you. Okay, I'm saying okay.
Put your hands behind your back. You're going to get tased.
Okay.
Did he just grab her by the neck?
Hands
Hang on one second. He grabs her by the neck. The first cop, this pig right here, grabbed her by the neck. Now the second pig is going to grab her by the neck.
Okay, I'm saying okay.
He's grabbing her by the neck. He's grabbing her by... There's my screenshot. There's the screenshot for the thumbnail. He's grabbing her by the neck. He's grabbing her by the neck. Look at that. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is just horrible. He attacks her as he's screaming, put your hands behind your back.
Behind your back, you're going to get tased.
I said
okay. Put your hands behind your back.
Sir,
look at the video on the right that was taken by the bystander.
Put your hands. Okay, I'm get down. Can I please
Up against the
just have
car.
my hand around?
Up against the
Well,
car.
twist
Up against the car.
Oh, he started punching her. Look at the video on the right. This cop starts punching her.
Up against the car.
He's twisted, she said.
Up against
He starts punching her in the face. He starts punching her in the face. Look at this.
Can I please
Up against
just
the
have my hand
car.
around?
Can I please I'm twisted up. She's got long socks on. The pavement's wet. You can see the reflection on the wet pavement.
Up against the car. Up against
Punching the 2, 3. He just got to start punching her. He just got to start punching her. My God. My God.
Miss Hancock denying both Sergeant Stanley and Officer Zella's the ad nauseum request for her identification is completely lawful. But they then do what an unreasonable amount of peace officers do every single day in this country. They compound their mistakes, they escalate an already unlawful encounter, and allow their personal feelings to drive their actions. I will dissect the arrest itself shortly, but first, Sergeant Stanley and Officer Zellers never even spoke with the McDonald's employees prior to engaging with Miss Hancock, which means they did not even conduct an investigation. Their motivation was solely based on the call for service that stated Miss Hancock was, quote unquote, yelling at employees, and they, quote unquote, wanted her trespassed. The officers had no clue to what degree, if any, Miss Hancock was being disorderly. It is certainly not illegal to have a disagreement with or yell at the employees at a McDonald's. And those are the only facts Sergeant Stanley and Officer Zellers had prior to arresting Miss Hancock. Sergeant Stanley did not obtain any formal statements from the employees describing Miss Hancock's so-called disorderly behavior. He just simply put their names as witnesses to a trespass. And neither officer looked at any security video footage. So they had no way to even affirm that Miss Hancock's behavior rose to the level of any sort of criminality. And Miss Hancock acknowledging to Sergeant Stanley that she was not, quote unquote, an angel when dealing with the McDonald's employees is not enough for the officer to make any criminal determinations. Sergeant Stanley and Officer Zellers approached this situation with all deference to McDonald's. And from the beginning, treated Miss Hancock...
I mean, look at her. I mean... Take a look at her face. Take a look at her face. She's a human being. She doesn't deserve to have her face bloodied like that. She doesn't deserve to have her lips split. It's over a sandwich. This is over a piece of cheese. This is over a piece of cheese. And the police escalated it. They escalated it to where she's bleeding and chained in the back of a car, in a cage, being arrested and charged with crimes. You dirty jackboot thug pig. What kind of man are you reaching for a woman's neck? I just... thanks for the super chat, Rising Tides. Over a piece of cheese. She's bleeding. Look at her face. When does punching somebody turn into a crime? When you punch someone who's not punching you. That's when it's a crime to punch somebody. When someone's just trying to get their head together why they're being attacked, and he just started punching her in the face. The guy should be charged with assault. It's just so unbelievable to me.
As a criminal. That is precisely what is not supposed to happen. Police should always be impartial and execute their duties in accordance with the U.S. and state constitution, as well as state and local laws. This is the exact sentiment to which every peace officer in this country swears an oath to. This video is not an explicit defense of Miss Hancock, and there are no ulterior motives. The narrative is not anti-this or pro-that. The only narrative in this video is that too many law enforcement professionals in this country lack the knowledge and or desire to execute their duties in accordance with the law. Remember when Chief Porter said this?
So you think it's odd that he wanted ID for something that doesn't require ID?
It does require ID. Okay.
What's
so
that?
The officers were out there on a legal criminal trespass complaint, and it does require for that individual that they made contact with them to provide them ID.
He was committing a crime.
Huh? It was trespassing. Yeah, she was trespassing.
Over a cheeseburger?
She was trespassing.
1 minute and 15 seconds later, this is what he says to another journalist.
Did the officers have a choice to charge her with trespassing, or like who is that up to? The business, or is it up to?
The business requested that she be.
And so they had to do it.
So yes, the business requested that she be charged with, or not be charged, but that she be given a formal warning for trespass.
A formal warning for trespassing? It does not exist. That is not a lawful procedure under the identification or trespassing law. When someone is asked to leave a property and they did not refuse to leave, the police cannot do anything but allow them to leave. They cannot require any information from the person being asked to leave because being asked to leave is not a crime. Therefore, the Butler Township Police Department is not in compliance with the enforcement of trespass and ID laws, and they are also committing a Fourth Amendment rights violation by requiring identification from someone that did not commit a crime. Chief Porter said 4 times in a row that Miss Hancock was criminally trespassing, but she was never charged with criminal trespassing. She was only charged with failure to ID and resisting arrest. I can only assume she was never charged with trespassing because they know she wasn't trespassing.
I wish we could read this. I really can't. I can't read it. I can't see it. Striking or kicking, baton techniques. Here's the deals here. Everybody, here's the deal.
And it definitely wasn't because they went easy on her or anything, because moments after the arrest, Sergeant Stanley can be heard on his body-worn camera rattling off the charges with glee to the McDonald's manager and stating,
disorderly, you name it, we're going to go with it.
Yeah.
Or not be charged, but that she be given a formal warning for trespass.
Disorderly, we're gonna go whatever we can charge her with. This to me though, right here, I'm gonna come back just a couple minutes here. I'm not sure if Here's the Deal was here when we saw this, but
Hands behind your back.
No, I'm not.
You are under arrest for failure to identify.
Don't
put your hands.
Okay, my last name is Hancock. I already told you that.
Behind your back.
No, I don't want
Put
to.
your
for real.
hands.
It's Latika. I'm telling you. Okay, I'm saying okay.
he grabs her neck.
Telling you. Okay, I'm saying okay.
This part to me. I mean, this part to me. Are you guys seeing this? Are you seeing this? You had a cheesy problem. I'm going to choke you. Oh, that's not enough? Not enough to choke you? Let me see what else we can do.
Back, you're going to get tased.
I said
Put your hands behind your back.
Look.
Wait,
Look at the ground. See the wet mud puddles over here? See the back of the pigmobile? You see the puddles of water right there? So she doesn't want to go down and lay on the ground, but she says she will.
Your hands.
Okay.
So this to me is the most telling
Behind
part.
your back.
Sir, wait. I
Put
said
your
okay.
hands
Okay.
down.
I'm going to get down, but the ground's wet. She's wearing high socks, wearing like hot shorts here, and they want her to lay on the ground.
Can I please?
Can I please just?
Turn around.
Up against the car.
I'm twisted up. One person's got one side, one person's got the other side.
Up against
Punch.
the car.
Punch. Pigs. Fucking pigs, dude.
Warning for trespass.
And that includes the paper that they need to.
Okay. So what you'll see is one of the documents. Do we have the calls for service on? Okay. We'll bring up the calls for service sheet where the actual.
They were not successful in bringing up the call for service report page that I've already showed you, and the camera stays on this screen most of the time the chief is speaking. I will put the call for service page back up again.
Business told dispatch that they wanted the person trespassed from the property. And
okay, so that is a little easier to read here. Comment now leaving upset over food. She's at the front entrance right now. CP wants her trespass. CP
requires a formal trespass form.
Wow. No, chief, that is wrong. The fact that a property owner is requesting for someone to leave their property absolutely does not require a trespass form.
Has their name filled out on it, and then they're given a formal. And that's done customarily.
Wait. Customarily? So that means it's not required by law? Well, I know it's not required by law, but clearly the chief feels as though he can circumvent civil rights with paperwork. And listen to him talking. He can barely form a complete sentence. I'm not sure if he's just a very poor public speaker, or if he is just trying to get the best words he can out of his mouth to make sure that he doesn't actually come off as an ignorant tyrant. Again, the crime of trespassing is not committed unless the person refuses to leave or returns. And no one is required to identify themselves if there was no crime.
And because they're out there.
Absolutely excellent journalism here. Let's give a shout out real quick to this channel, Forensic for Media. I'm going to subscribe to this person. I'm going to give him a thumbs up, and I'm going to say thank you for the breakdown and just give him a little love. I'm going to put the link for this video in the chat so you guys can get over here and give him a little love too.
On a disorderly complaint, which is a violation of the law, it requires them to identify themselves.
What? Because they are out on a disorderly complaint, which is a violation of the law, it requires them to identify themselves. No, Chief, it doesn't. A person is not required to identify themselves because a McDonald's employee told a dispatcher that a customer yelled at them and they want them to leave. You can't stand there at a press conference and say after the fact that Ms. Hancock had to ID for a disorderly conduct investigation when the officer's directives to Ms. Hancock were only related to requiring ID for trespass warning, which in and of itself was unlawful. Perhaps if the chief didn't threaten to take his ball and go home, one of the other journalists could have questioned him on that. I cannot believe that this is a chief of police. He somehow got to this position with this illogical and unlawful thought process without anyone realizing that he is unfit and completely ignorant.
Oh, no. My new friend for Forensic, my new amigo here, Forensic something. I can't see what the rest of his channel is called. Oh, no. All they care about is the ones who will toe the thin blue line. That's all. They don't care if he knows the law. They don't care. All they want is someone who's going to back the blue. Back the blue. As long as it's blue, back the blue no matter what. Just back the blue. Backing the blue is the only thing that matters. So for Forensic, I'm not sure what the rest of the name of his channel is, but someone could put the whole name of the channel in. He doesn't give a shit about law and order or being right. All they care about are following orders. That's it. That's the whole thing right there. I'm sorry for interrupting. Just want to jump in there real quick.
Sergeant Stanley and Officer Sellers did not even
look at this poor woman. Let me kill the sound real quick. So just take a look here real fast. Now watch her rocking back and forth and bleeding. Look, she's crying. She doesn't want to go to jail, doesn't want her car to be impounded. But the cops don't give a shit about her.
And Officer Sellers did not even conduct an investigation for disorderly conduct. If that is why they were there, why didn't they?
You guys, welcome Rising Tides. Thanks for the super chats and the membership, Rising Tides.
And I think it is very strange that Officer Sellers said this to Miss Hancock.
Look at me. Look at me. Didn't even do that. Look at me. We're not McDonald's security.
Oh, no, you are McDonald's security. And she says you didn't have to punch me. I didn't do anything because they didn't need to punch her. The cop should be charged with assault and battery.
Look at me. Didn't even do that. Look at me. We're not McDonald's security.
But
oh, yes,
that is
you are.
exactly
yes,
how
you
they
are.
behaved.
This guy and I are right on the same page. Yes, that's exactly how you behaved.
And it appears to be right in line with how the chief responded to this follow-up question to his earlier ignorant statement.
So that's not just because the business is requesting it. It is not as simple as she can just leave. The business is asking your department to
Correct.
Normally, criminally trespasser.
Correct.
You know, by the chief saying this, he is saying that the criminal determination can be made by the person who calls the police. I probably do not need to tell you how potentially dangerous and demonstrably wrong that is. See, all this nonsense, this goes on every single day all over the country, without exaggeration. People are unlawfully detained, questioned, searched, arrested, and brutalized for nothing. That is why I invested so much time and money into bringing these incidents to your attention. All you have to do is create some simple Google alerts and you will see I am not incorrect. Now let's take a look at the arrest itself. As you already saw, the interaction starts with Sergeant Stanley listening to Miss Hancock's side of the cheese dispute for 2 minutes. And after that, Sergeant Stanley and Officer Zellas mistakenly believe that they already have a lawful reason to require her ID. And when asked, Miss Hancock lawfully refuses to provide her ID. Sergeant Stanley and Officer Zellas request her information ad nauseum for about 2 minutes. And then Officer Zellas initiates the arrest.
Okay, you're under arrest.
No, I'm not.
So Miss Hancock is pulling away and saying no, both of which I'm sure are very typical when arresting just about anyone. She's not making any threatening moves or saying anything threatening. Officer Zellas is not doing anything productive to facilitate the arrest with having only one free hand. He is just haphazardly holding on to her and is not able to effectively initiate any offensive measures. Sergeant Stanley, after missing her left arm, then tries to grab her coat hood. And then Miss Hancock does what can only be called a pick and roll like she was Steph Curry. And it almost seems like because of that, Sergeant Stanley and Officer Zella's next action is fueled by frustration and ego. As Miss Hancock is backing up against the cruiser, waving her hands in surrender, the officers miss an opportunity to de-escalate, and then they overcorrect. First,
wow, this is some sick shit. You know, this is sick.
By Officer Zellas drawing his taser, and then he and Sergeant Stanley issuing conflicting commands and physical holds. Sergeant Stanley tries to take her to the ground. She's worried about her shoe, and then she thinks they want her on the ground. Then they both finally tell her the same command, but because of the way they are holding her, she cannot turn to do so. And just as she is finished saying as much, Sergeant Stanley punches her in the face 3 times.
Up against the car! Up against the car!
See, this is where I got a real problem. Police should not be able to punch us. It has to be changed. Anybody get in a fist fight when they were in high school or college or in their 20s? I got in plenty. And the one thing that was always unacceptable was the one who threw the sucker punch or the one who threw the punch when somebody else was holding the person. We didn't respect the sucker punch and we didn't respect getting punched when someone else is holding you. Does everybody agree to that? Does everybody agree the tribe is here? Yeah, we're live right now, Roy. I just jumped on for a little while. We all agree on that, right? That sucker punching somebody when someone else is holding them is completely reprehensible. Do we all agree on that? I just want to make sure we're all on the same page here.
The face 3 times.
Up against the car!
Watch this over here on the right. Watch on the right.
Up against the car!
You see him punching over here on the right-hand side? Do you see this over here going on?
Later on, when Officer Zellas is talking to Miss Hancock in his car, he tells her this.
I would much rather just keep physically fighting somebody than tasing them. You don't know how bad tasing is.
That's interesting, isn't it? And clearly a lie. So I've already explained that nearly every aspect of this interaction was unlawful.
Did everybody hit the like button? Did everybody hit the like button? Just take a second. Let's just take a second real quick. I got to calm down because I'm going to start screaming, you dirty fucking pigs. I'm going to lose my mind in a minute. So let's just take a second. Double tap the screen if you're watching in vertical. Close the live chat. Hit the like button. Reopen the live chat. Just take you a second. Just 1 second real quick. Hit the like button. I'd appreciate it. I got one person. There's little 225 people here across all the channels I stream on. no matter what I do, you guys are going to watch my social media presence on this channel and the channels I have. It's all going to fade. It's all going to fade because they don't want my message. They don't want you to understand that the linchpin of the prison state, death state is Terry versus Ohio. It's not qualified immunity. You guys been listening to people on YouTube for a decade run around and scream, qualified immunity, qualified immunity. Qualified immunity matters, but it's been abolished in New Mexico, in Colorado. Connecticut is a Connecticut, New Mexico. So it's been abolished in 4 states. Colorado is one of the worst police states in the country. Has anything changed? Did anything change in Colorado? They abolished qualified immunity. Did anything change in Colorado? In Aurora? In Boulder? Did anything change? Nothing changed. The linchpin of the police state, prison state, death state. Before YouTube cancels my channels, I can't keep an account on TikTok. I've had over 5 million subscribers on TikTok. Can't keep a channel. It gets deleted. Nothing's changed. Qualified immunity has been abolished. It is not qualified immunity. It's not. It's Terry versus Ohio. What she's going through right now is being detained with torture cuffs. Detainment comes from Terry versus Ohio. All right. So I got 2 people to hit the like button. I stopped the show for a full minute and a half, 2 minutes, and 2 people. My influence is deep.
And in these next couple of clips, you'll see that Sergeant Stanley and Officer Zellas may have actually come to that same conclusion, either partially or completely. 22 minutes after the arrest, Sergeant Stanley has this exchange with Officer Zellas.
What do you want? Resisting, failure to identify.
I don't know if failure to identify is what you want. You fail to provide information to avoid a criminal complaint. Take a look what you got.
So Sergeant Stanley just said, I don't know if failure to identify is what you want. But isn't that the exact reason why they grabbed her, punched her, handcuffed her, and put her in the car? Is it not? So they did all of that, and they're not even sure what to charge her with. And what was the sergeant talking about? Failure to give her information for a criminal complaint? That's the same thing. There's no separate law for that. That is the ID law. And what does it mean when he says, take a look at what you got? Is he leaving Officer Zellas to sit there and figure out what to charge her with? I mean, this is technically Sergeant Stanley's arrest. Honestly, I don't even understand this incompetence. Then 5 minutes later, they have this conversation.
I need to get everything out of her pockets, everything, and readjust her cuffs.
No, just get her down to jail.
Just get her down there and do it there?
Yeah, we're not catered to her after what she did.
No, I just mostly just want to get everything.
What? What?
Out of her pockets, everything, and readjust her cuffs.
No.
And he says no.
Just get her down to jail.
Just get her down there and do it there?
Yeah, we're not
Just get her down to the jail. We're not catering to her after what she did.
catered to her after what she did. No, I just
Wow. What a bunch of pigs.
everything out of her pockets, everything, and readjust her cuffs.
no. Just get her down to jail.
Just get her down there and do it there?
Yeah, we're not catered to her after what she did.
No, I just mostly just want to get everything out. Make sure I don't look dumb going to jail if you miss something on her.
I don't want to get her out again and have to get her back in the car. So you tell them that she followed us the whole way, and that once we didn't want to get her back out. So you can pat her down in the Sally Port, which you can do anyway.
Go hold you for it. Go hold her for it. Failure to identify and resisting.
I'm gonna have a traffic ticket since I find the ticket. Yeah, give me one. Let's talk for a minute.
So toward the end of this brief conversation, Officer Zellas tells the sergeant he is going to go with failure to ID and resisting. And as per usual in these situations, they turned off their body-worn cameras so they can discuss the arrest off the record. I don't know what Butler Township's body-worn camera policy is, but that's moot because no department should be allowed to choose when they do and do not record. Ultimately, it's going to need to be mandated by state laws so that the body-worn cameras can remain on for the entirety of an incident. There are plenty of laws that already exist that give police departments the ability to legally redact anything that is private or not for the public.
Let me jump in here real quick, and I hate to say it because I just want you guys to know up front. When I was in the dungeon, I devised a helmet. Everybody knows what a helmet looks like in the Army. And around the rim of the helmet's like a 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch thick. There's cameras facing down on the sides and in the back. So there's no hand play. You can see what the cop is doing. There's 3 cameras facing 3 different directions on the top. Right here is a memory stick. Of course, everything gets transmitted to a server, but if the transmission breaks, then everything gets stored on the memory stick. The audio can never be turned off and the video can never be turned off. It's for officer safety. We want to make sure the cops are safe, so we're going to provide them all with helmets now. But the helmet has audio and video running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I devised it in the dungeon.
But obviously something that is never recorded is never recorded. When the body-worn cameras are turned off, their conversation is partially picked up by the sergeant's in-car microphone. It's difficult to hear everything they are saying, but they are clearly discussing the arrest. And 60 seconds into their conversation, Miss Hancock can overhear them. And what she hears appears to remove all doubt as to the officer's intentions in turning off the body-worn cameras.
I've been through this once with you, and I'm
Team DLZ. I can't hear. Listen close.
I've been through this once with you, and I'm
This is just infuriating. The radio is on and they turned off the body-worn camera. What is the point? What is the point in having a body-worn camera to protect us from a tyrannical police state if they're going to have a radio on in the car and they turn off the body-worn camera? What's the point in having it? This is so infuriating listening to this because you can't hear anything.
That's crazy how they were just standing over here talking about what they were going to say. Tell the truth. You don't have to talk about what you're going to say. I hope they put his name on my paper because I want to know what he's doing.
No officer can conduct a perfect arrest every time, and most do not get the scrutiny of a play-by-play. But more important than how this arrest was executed is the mindset behind the officers doing the arresting. This cannot happen anymore. Sergeant Stanley and Officer Zellers have 38 years of experience between them. So for starters, this arrest should
I'm going to mute the audio for just 1 second here, and I want you guys to take a look at the woman crying. Cope doggy dog. Check out this woman. Look at her face. Look, why did she get a tooth knocked out? Why is she bleeding like that? Why does she have blood on her face? This whole thing was over a piece of cheese. Look, she got her teeth knocked out. Look. Hold on, let me go slow here. Because she had teeth a second ago, and now it looks like her teeth are missing. My mouth. She said my mouth, and she's crying. why in the world, why I just cannot. I mean, this is just so unbelievable. Look, she's crying, man.
That said, there is no reason why they could not have arrested her by just focusing on providing cohesive verbal commands and using proper control and
Oh
hold
my God, he's pulling on her rotator cuff on her shoulders.
techniques instead of miscommunication and sloppy, anger-filled aggression. If they cannot do that with someone like
Oh
Miss
my God.
Hancock or the average man or woman without
Oh my God. I wonder if her look at the torture cuffs on her wrists.
being ego-driven and using excessive force, then they truly
Oh God.
do not deserve that badge. To me, it is abundantly clear that this is just lazy and impatient policing. The unnecessary and excessive force in this incident is quite blatant. Unnecessary because the arrest was unlawful.
Wow. I'm just, who else is pissed off right now? Who else is watching this and is just like beyond the pale of pissed off? You don't pull on someone's shoulders backwards like that. You don't do that to someone. You don't do that to another person. You don't treat human beings that way. It's just.
And excessive because the mild resistance exhibited by Miss Hancock did not require the drawing of a taser or punches to the face. There are several incidents from both Sergeant Stanley and Officer Zeller's of conduct unbecoming. From Sergeant Stanley bragging about his use of force to the paramedics at McDonald's, to Officer Zeller's persistent demeaning of Miss Hancock. The majority of these can all be seen in the full incident video. The possibility of a conspiracy to violate rights is going to have to be examined closely by the FBI and the U.S. Attorney General. But based on the incident body-worn camera and in-car video, not only does it appear that the officers needed to discuss this arrest off the record to get their story straight, but the chief's ignorance on display at the press conference can only be a severe lack of knowledge or purposeful misdirection. The malfeasance on display in this incident is very worrisome. The overall manner in which this call for service was executed was, as previously mentioned, as if the Butler Township Police Department was a private security company, or as if the determination of criminal activity was already established either solely by officer intuition or the reporting party, all of which goes against everything law enforcement is supposed to be. And relating to undereducated or willful negligence, I do not even know how to begin characterizing this. How these law enforcement professionals appear to both not know the very laws they are charged with enforcing, and at the same time try and spin the situation to make it look as though they are not wrong, is absolutely perplexing. One can only hope that the proverbial who knew what and when will eventually come to light. As of the date of release for this video, the most recent information on this case is this. In addition to the Ohio Attorney General's Bureau of Criminal Investigation.
Oh, there's a shocker. Oh my goodness. There's a shocker. It's in Ohio. I should have known. I mean, it's in Ohio. Of course it's in Ohio. Of course it is. Ohio, in my opinion, is the most fucked up state in America. Missouri, maybe, Louisiana, Arkansas, Ohio. Ohio, to me, is the top garbage police state in America. Not the people. The people of Ohio are awesome. I love the people in Ohio. It's the cops in Ohio. It's the dirty jackboot thug pigs in Ohio.
Assisting with this investigation. The FBI and the United States Attorney General have also initiated
But what does that mean? We keep on hearing this same old bullshit. In addition, the township has been notified the FBI, in conjunction with the U.S. Attorney General's office, has opened an investigation into the matter. The township will cooperate fully with the investigations because absolutely nothing will happen to the dirty pigs who did this to her. That cop who punched her 3 times should be charged with battery. He should be charged. He should be charged with battery. Plead the Fifth is in the hizzy. What's going on, Plead the Fifth? How you doing? Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. It is just so unbelievable. It is just so unbelievable. Steven, what's going on, buddy? How you doing? Good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. And you wonder why they were getting attacked. I mean, Anthony Serrano says a civil war is coming soon. I hope not. If a civil war happens, then we failed. We have to solve it with words. We have to solve it by changing the policy of police from the top down. I don't. You don't understand. If you've ever had anybody die in your life, it's horrible. Now imagine your neighbor, your cousin, your brother, all these people dying. We don't want to go to a civil war. We really don't. We really don't. Don't get me wrong. I'm upset here, but we really, really don't want to. Ethan's been a member for 3 months. Thanks for your membership, man. I'm going to get you to transfer that membership over to teamdlz.com if my webmaster will ever finish this website. Supposed to be done by this weekend, supposed to be done by last weekend, supposed to be done. But listen, he does so many things for me. I can't possibly bash him. I can't possibly plead the fifth with another super chat. Thank you. I appreciate it. So they don't care because nothing's going to happen to them.
With this investigation,
Butler Township Police Department has requested the Ohio Attorneys General. Remember, the same state where James Sheets was murdered in Youngstown, and they had BCI, Bureau of Criminal Investigations, the Ohio Super Cops, and they found no wrongdoing, even though we have a still frame video of James Sheets sitting like this, and they said that he had a gun and shot at them. It is just such a load of shit.
The FBI and the United States Attorney General have also initiated an investigation in this incident. On the message from the chief page on the Butler Township Police website, Chief Porter mentions that when he was hired in 2016, the department was on the cusp of extreme financial cuts and faced the possibility of being disbanded, with services being outsourced to the sheriff's department. If this unequivocal deficit in the department's education...
Hold on a second. Let's take a look here. A message from our chief pig. Welcome to Butler Township Pig Shack. In 2016, I was hired as Butler Township Chief of Pigs after retiring from City of Trotwood. So he's getting retirement pay plus his pay. I started my career being a pig in 1981. At the age of 18, I began dispatching Madison Township. I joined the ranks of the Madison Township Police Department as a part-time officer at 21. In 1989, a full-time position. So he's been a pig since 1990. Since 1990. And there's the phone numbers. I'm just going to real quick here. Made it a priority to increase police staffing in an attempt to provide additional coverage for the township. I'm very proud to protect this community. You're the tyrant, bro. Look at this cross-eyed moron. He's the fear, the darkness, the terror. He's the evil.
And morals cannot be fixed, then having the sheriff's department take over is quite possibly the best solution. Because with incidents like this that are going to cost the township hundreds of thousands of dollars in lawsuits, it's only going to take a couple of those before the police department once again becomes unsustainable. I will be keeping a close eye on this case and Butler Township Police on the whole.
First time I've seen this guy's channel. Let's just take a look here and see what he's got. Videos here. Oh, he's got 4 videos total. He's got 4 videos. Jump on over here. Let him know that I sent you. Tell him DLZ sent you over to say hello. I'm going to put the link for his channel down in the chat here. If you guys want to pop over there and tell him thank you for the service he does. He's doing a good job. And then there's a national epidemic happening. Senior citizens assaulted by cops for nothing. Sonia Massey, deep dive analysis, Exhibit A to Episode 1. Oh, is this the breakdown? Oh, he goes even further in this one here. This is a year ago. And this one is unlawful arrest. Okay, so this is the one we just watched. Oh, these are a year old. He's been doing this for 1 year. Wow.
him, you're going to be in trouble.
Okay, ma'am.
I promise you, because I know my son.
Body camera footage shows a mother's outrage as her son is arrested for a crime he did not commit. Tonight, 2 THP troopers are being sued in federal court.
They arrested a Tennessee man for DUI who was sober the entire time. It's the latest development in Jeremy Finley's sobering problem investigations, where he's finding sober Tennesseans arrested for DUI.
I need you to get back in your vehicle for me.
Okay, I will.
Ask yourself this about your mom.
What's the problem?
If you'd been arrested on the interstate and your mother happened to drive by and see you,
Why is my son being arrested?
For driving under the influence, ma'am.
He has not been drinking, sir.
what would your mom say? Well, in the case of Thomas Mannis, who just been arrested for DUI while claiming he was sober.
Wait a second. Are those the torture cuffs are on in the front? He's got the torture cuffs on in the front. Well, if you could put the torture cuffs on in the front in this case, then why can't the torture cuffs always go on in the front?
Just been arrested for DUI while claiming he was sober.
Got anything to drink today?
His mom had plenty to say.
I'm just saying, if you have falsely arrested him, you're going to be in trouble.
Okay, ma'am.
I promise you, because I know my son.
And it turns out mother does know best. Mannis was arrested and charged with DUI, but his blood work shows he was completely sober. No alcohol, no drugs. And now he's suing both the state troopers who arrested him, citing unlawful seizure and false arrest. And it's what's once again captured on police body camera before the field sobriety test is even given.
Do not take those tests. Cope, dog in a hizzy. What's going on, Cope?
Raises more questions about why police are arresting innocent people, charging them with a crime they didn't commit. Real quick, you may remember, as part of our sobering problem investigations, we showed you what a Rutherford County deputy said about a pool player he just pulled over for a DUI. Take a listen.
Never known a sober person shoot much pool. Oh, I know.
He arrested that driver, who ended up being sober too. Now, watch what is said about Thomas Mannis last December. He was pulled over, not for swerving or speeding, but for having too dark of tinted windows in Monroe County in East Tennessee. Before the field sobriety test even begins, Trooper Billy Yates Matoy says he knows a relative of Mannis's and has a suspicion about Mannis.
Probably got weed, probably high.
Yeah.
What?
I guarantee you smoke weed today.
What? What did this probably got weed, probably high?
Got weed, probably high.
Yeah.
I guarantee you smoke weed today.
That's the whole thing. The entire thing about Terry versus Ohio is that it can't be a hunch. It has to be reasonably articulable suspicion of a crime. Suspicion. It's not suspicion, it's suspicion. Reasonable, articulable suspicion of a crime. And let's listen closely real quick to what this pig says.
Relative of Mannis's and has a suspicion about Mannis.
He's got a suspicion. In Terry versus Ohio, the oral arguments, which I presented to you just day before yesterday, the Supreme Court justices, unelected, but they're going to uphold our civil liberties. None of them have ever been pulled over. None of them have ever been put in torture cuffs. None of them have ever had their mom or dad put in jail. So they have no idea what life is like for us. They're appointed by elitists, the Heritage Foundation. That's who picks out the Supreme Court justices. John Roberts has never been pulled over. Regardless, even Terry versus Ohio, the 1967 oral arguments will state it cannot be a hunch. It has to be an articulable suspicion with a single fact of criminality. Not just, oh, I think for sure that this guy's got some weed on him. He must be high.
Mannis.
Probably got weed, probably high.
Yeah.
I guarantee you smoke weed today. When was the last time you smoked marijuana?
Not anytime soon. I'd say probably about 4 years ago.
So if I done a blood test on you right now, nothing's come back in your system.
It'd come back clear. It'd come back clear.
According to Mannis's lawsuit, he successfully performed each field sobriety test, but still was charged.
Am I in custody?
Yes, sir. Huh? Yes, sir. Arrested? Yes, sir. For? I don't know what's for driving under the influence. Oh my gosh. Is there any way I can do a breathalyzer and just? We don't do breathalyzers, sir.
You can imagine what his mom had to say about that.
Did you give him a breathalyzer?
Man, we don't do breathalyzers.
Did you give him a? Then this is not right.
Ma'am?
How can you do this?
This is Terry versus Ohio come to life, people. You guys don't really. I've been running around for almost 3 years screaming, it's not qualified immunity. It's Terry versus Ohio. Just so you know, DUI checkpoints are from a 1990 case called Sitz versus Michigan State Police, SITZ versus Michigan State Police. Sitz, the jurisprudence of Nazi checkpoints in America, is guess what? Terry versus Ohio. You could not have DUI checkpoints in the United States of America if there wasn't Terry versus Ohio. It's Terry. Let's break something. Let's break something. It's Terry versus Ohio. Do you understand that? This man right here is being arrested because the cop is suspicious. There's no probable cause. And then they changed it later to probable cause to believe. It used to be probable cause supported by oath or affirmation of the victim, specifically targeting the place to be searched or the person or things to be seized. It's not that anymore. Now it's reasonable suspicion. I swear I was reasonably suspicious that he was impaired. And so now they're going to arrest him and impound his car. It all goes back to Terry versus Ohio.
And sometimes it's not what you hear or see that says a lot. Because after the field sobriety test, Trooper Schreiner goes behind the car to talk to Trooper Yates Matoy and turns his body cam audio off.
Here it is again.
30 seconds. What they talk about, we don't know. And
this is God.
The Trooper Yates Matoy and turns his body cam audio off.
This is the whole problem. This is the whole problem. So if you guys don't know what happened, let me catch you up. Here's what happened. Body cameras were implemented a little over 10 years ago. They started to become a national thing about 10 years ago, about 2014, 2015. Cops started getting arrested and going to prison for murder. It happened a lot through 2015, 16, 17. Then the Fraternal Order of Police, a well-funded organization, then began to pay for candidates, ex-cops, in your local state legislature and federal legislature. Then what the Fraternal Order of Police did is they gave those cops who they got elected to office in Arizona. In Arizona, it was Kavanaugh. I forget his first name, but the cop's last name was Kavanaugh. He used to work in New York as a port cop for 30 years. He retired, moved to Arizona, ran for local government, got a seat in the Senate. He's an Arizona senator. The Fraternal Order of Police wrote a bill. They gave it to him that says, we get the body cam footage. It belongs to us. We own it. So every state in America now, almost every state, now has passed legislation that the body cam footage belongs to the cops. And they can manipulate their body-worn camera, audio, and video anytime they want. How'd that happen? The Fraternal Order of Police funded ex-cops in your state. And look, they turned the body cam off 2 videos in a row where the body camera goes off. And put a 1 in the chat if you're getting pissed. If you're furious and you don't know what this jackboot thug pig said. And I'm pissed. I don't want the body camera turned off. I want to hear it.
To talk to Trooper Yates Matoy and turns his body cam audio off. For 30 seconds, what they talk about, we don't know. And when the tow truck driver arrives to pick up Manis's vehicle, the driver asks Schreiner this question. And the audio is once again turned off.
Wow, so Jeremy, can state troopers do that? Just turn off their audio?
Well, Marius, we asked the Tennessee Highway Patrol that. A spokesman said they can't comment because of the pending litigation. So I asked for their policy on turning off audio and why they don't use breathalyzers anymore. And we are waiting to get that. Once we get it, we'll let you know.
Okay, so in case you don't know, Tennessee is one of the worst police states in the country. You can't get body camera in the state of Tennessee unless you're incident to the arrest, unless you're a part of the arresting party. Is it Tennessee or North Carolina? I could misspeak here. I'm pretty sure it's Tennessee. I'm pretty sure it's Tennessee. I'm just dying to know. I'm just dying to know. I'm just dying to know here. It says Tennessee has a number of laws regarding body cameras, including, let me share this with you guys. We're going to come right back to this video. We're at 4 minutes and 13 seconds in this video. We're going to come right back to it. I want to hear what he has to say here. 4 minutes and 13 seconds. So this says Tennessee has a number of laws regarding body cameras, including body cameras can't be used to gather intelligence based on First Amendment protected speech, religion, or association. They can't be used to record activity unrelated to law enforcement encounters. Public record. Body camera footage is generally considered public record in Tennessee as long as it's redacted. As long as it's redacted. There's the caveat. As long as it's redacted. You can't get it. You got to pay a fee. Police must release video for certain law enforcement purposes, such as the district attorney to review potential criminal charges. It's a felony to tamper with body cam evidence, such as altering. The bill specifies the body cameras must not be used in a manner inconsistent with purposes described in this bill. Let's check out this General Assembly here. Can you guys see this? Whatever. I'll get into it. I'll read it when you guys aren't here.
You're going to be in trouble.
He was pulled over, not for swerving or speeding.
Not anytime. For
driving on the influence.
You can imagine Trooper Yates Matoy and turns his body cam audio off. For 30 seconds, what they talk about, we don't know. And when the tow truck driver arrives to pick up Manis's vehicle, the driver asks Schreiner this question. And the audio is once again turned off.
Wow. So, Jeremy, can state troopers do that? Just turn off their audio?
Well, Marius, we asked the Tennessee Highway Patrol that. A spokesman said they can't comment because of the pending litigation. So I asked for their policy on turning off audio and why they don't use breathalyzers anymore. And we are waiting to get that. Once we get it, we'll let you know. You might have noticed in that story that we didn't speak to Manis. His attorney, Scott Canabos, said they couldn't comment because the case was pending.
So I want to do a couple of things here real fast. First of all, I want to address what Stephen Clark said down here. So I'm 50 years old. I just turned 50 on September 11th. So that was just 3 weeks ago. Thank you for the birthday wishes. I appreciate it. Anybody else a Virgo? Happy birthday to you too. But I'm 50, meaning I'm a Gen Xer. Went through hundreds of these as a kid growing up in Seattle. I was raised in Alaska. Claimed they smelled Mary and they roughed us up, searched the car and beat up a few friends. How many other people, put a 1 in the chat if you got beat up or roughed up by the cops? 1 for me. 1 for me. The cops beat us up all the time. Physically threw us on the ground, pushed us, punched us, kicked us. It was pretty regular. It was pretty regular. Where the cops used to just beat us up before there was body-worn cameras. The jails and prisons used to be absolute rape centers and murder centers where people got raped and killed all the time, more regularly than ever you could even imagine how normal it was where people were getting raped or killed in prisons or jails. What Stephen Clark said here is so normal through the 90s and early 2000s. Can anybody else relate to what Mr. Clark here said? Because I certainly can. It just unbelievable to me what we're seeing. So I wanted to show this to you guys. And this is going to say that it's graphic, but it's not, just so you guys know. Okay, so this is that judge. He's the judge in West Virginia who was killed. Do you guys remember this? This just happened a few weeks ago. This body-worn camera just came out. Colt Stonewolf just became a new member. Colt, I did not see your green tag come through. Let me see if I can put them up on the screen. Everybody, please help me welcome Colt. Colt Stonewolf. What a great username, brother. What a great username. It's almost as good as Team DLZ. Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. So YouTube is you guys can see they're just killing the channel, but there's nothing I can do about it. I'm starting another channel. So I'm not going to stop. Danelle's in here. I didn't see Danelle. Danelle Brown, is she in here? I want to make sure. Did I see her? Nice to see you. Nice to see you, Jennifer Hill. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. There's Danelle. Hi, Danelle. Good to see you. Good to see you. Everybody, welcome Colt. Colt, welcome to the membership. Thank you for coming. I'm going to get you guys to move over to teamdlz.com pretty soon. So this guy's like, now, whoa, right there. So they show this just for the YouTube censors. They show stuff like this on NBC, CBS, ABC, any kind of primetime cop show. They show stuff like this all the time. Anything I do is age restricted. Anything I do is ad suitability and demonetized. Almost every single video I do is demonetized or age restricted. And it's just so unbelievable. It's just, they just suspended my friend Michael Eline yesterday for covering Julian, last name Assange. I can't even say it. I'm not even allowed to say it. I'm not. And now let's see if they demonetize and age restrict this video too. I'm just going to show you the video.
Prior to the clip that we saw,
he shot him right there.
Sheriff Steins uses his telephone to make some phone calls.
Shot him right
He's
there.
borrows
Shot him right there.
Judge Mullen's cell phone and appears to make a call on that.
Leans in there to shoot him again.
Mickey Stein stepped down as sheriff yesterday, just days after Governor Beshear gave him an ultimatum: resign or be forced out. I was in the Morgan County courtroom today as Steins made his first in-person appearance, and the video of the crime played out.
In investigation of that death, were you able to determine who killed Kevin Mullins?
Yes.
And how were you able to do that?
Video surveillance footage.
Tense moments in a Morgan County courtroom as surveillance video appeared to show Letcher County Sheriff Mickey Steins gunning down Judge Kevin Mullins on September 19th. The portion of the video used at the preliminary hearing appeared to show Steins walking into the judge's chambers with a gun, Mullins with his hands up, and Steins firing multiple shots. When Mullins retreats behind his desk, Steins appears to follow, firing again. In the courtroom, Steins' family silent on one side, Mullins' family sobbing on the other. During cross-examination, KSP Detective Clayton Stamper testified about an exchange between Steins and Mullins not shown in the footage shared at the hearing.
Sheriff Steins uses his telephone to make some phone calls. He then borrows Judge Mullen's cell phone and appears to make a call on that. And that led to what you just saw.
Stamper said Sheriff Steins tried to call his daughter from Mullins' phone, and her cell phone number was already in the judge's phone. Defense lawyer Jeremy Bartley indicating the contents of those cell phones could be telling.
Let's be candid here. This is a man that has served Letcher County, his people there in some form of capacity for 22 years. And the testimony that I heard was that this was not planned. So I don't think it is that far of a stretch to say that whatever happened in the moments that we didn't see today were the precipitating factor.
Bartley said he had lingering questions regarding witnesses who heard the gunshots from one room over and a lunch meeting between Mullins and Steins that took place earlier in the day.
I left the hearing today with a lot of questions still unanswered myself. We hoped that there may be more light that will be shed on the preceding.
Are you guys confused? Team DLZ, I see you. I'm not allowed to say the judge deserved it. Okay. Okay, cool. Cool. Oh, he served. So put a 1 in the chat if you think the judge got what he had coming. I just want to know what people think, because so far in this country, that creep was serving for over 30 years. I don't call it serving. I call it being a parasite. You're not a cop serving your community. You're a cop who's grifting off the people. You're not a judge who served anybody. You served yourself, bud. You served yourself. The criminal injustice industry is only a money racket for them. For them. It is only to ruin our lives. It's not making, Mongoose, how do we know? How do we know what that judge did? I know this, the judges that I've dealt with in this country, from Ohio, Arizona, Massachusetts, Nevada, the judges that I've dealt with, the 4 off the top of my head that I can think of them and picture them, each and every one of them was such a gigantic piece of shit. Such a gigantic piece of shit. I'm a lot more forgiving than I seem on camera. I'm a lot more forgiving than what I seem on here. But the truth is that these judges are scumbags. They work for the police and the prosecutors and the state. They don't work in the vein of liberty, justice, truth, and transparency. When you see a cop punch a woman in the face like that, when she's trying to figure out what's going on, the cop should be charged with a crime. And so I don't have any empathy for this cop. I hope he's burning in hell. I mean, later when I get calmed down a little bit, then I get to thinking, yeah, and that's the other thing, Red Eye Rick, the piece of shit judge Ann Zimmerman, biased, unprincipled, cunt, right? I can't sue her. She has absolute immunity. And it just has me no empathy is what Stacy said. I'm totally with you, Stacy. Totally with you.
The Commonwealth's case against Steins will now head to a grand jury. The motive still unclear in a case capturing national attention.
Yeah.
If convicted, Steins could face 20 years to life in prison. The prosecution hasn't indicated if they'll pursue the death penalty.
Oh, of course not. Of course not. They're not going to pursue the death penalty for that. Well, maybe they do. Maybe they say that he did it in cold blood, but how do we know? How do we know what this was actually about? Remember, I called that bailiff a pig, and that disgusting of a human being, Zimmerman, put me in jail for months. How do we know he's not gonna? How do we know? How do we know she's not sucking his? How do we know? How do we know? How do we know? We don't. How do we know why that cop killed that judge? We don't know why. What could that judge have been doing? Could the judge have been a patter ass? Could that be a possibility? It's just I don't have any empathy for these pigs. I don't have any empathy for them at all whatsoever. I don't have any empathy for the judges. They don't care about us one bit. I was in jail. They didn't give a shit about me. And I haven't started my media blitz on Ann Zimmerman yet. I'm going to wait till she retires in January. Ann's not going to be able to go anywhere without me letting the public know in the area that they have a disgusting. I got to be really careful. What I say. Zimmerman is a piece of shit. And when the ultimate happens and she goes on to meet her maker, I hope she burns in hell forever. I hope the devil sticks a pitchfork up her ass. I can't stand that cunt. I can't stand her. Cannot stand her. Of course, the body camera is not on, so we can't hear. He's got a grenade. He's got a grenade in his hand, or is that a flashbang? That is sick that they have these tools to use against us in this country. Why is he holding that? What a sicko.
As he pulling in, we smash around this way. As we got that right here, that's what the gunshots came like blah, 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 blah.
Do you go by or you go by?
Got a bunch of pigs in masks. All right. Showed us absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. What a waste. What a waste.
So I'm over here to make this video today, and there's a lot about, we talk about, are there any good police officers, or all police officers are corrupt? And, I was a police officer for 24 years, and I like to think that I wasn't corrupt.
Oh, no, you were.
And I got many.
Oh, no, you were. He sounds like Dominic Izzo. If you guys have heard Dominic Izzo, I interviewed him. He sounds like this. He sounds like this. He sounds just like this guy. We did it all right. We did it right. We were trained in how to choke people out, and we did it all right. Just like this guy. I was a cop for 24 years, and we didn't do it bad. No. You did it bad. You did it bad. You're the reason why we're here. You never said, let's get rid of torture cuffs. This cop right here, he never said, let's get rid of these torture cuffs. We can use cameras. We can use plastic. We can use different restraints. We don't need to use chains. I'm not sure what case that is, but I'm going to put it on the screen so I can look it up. Thanks for putting the case on there. Yeah, you were just as bad as the rest.
For 24 years, and I like to think that I wasn't corrupt.
No, you were corrupt. You were corrupt and dirty, and you towed the thin blue line. You were a jackboot thug pig.
And, I got many family members, my brothers and everybody else is still police officers, and I don't think they're corrupt. But what happens within the system is oftentimes the good officers can't come forward, because if you say anything, then you're ostracized, you're called what they blackballed, blacklisted, or you're retaliated and totally moved from the police force completely. So it becomes a culture. It's the way you live. It's the way you think. There was a phrase that we often used to use in the workplace, and officers would say this all the time. And I want to say we learned this even in academy. And they would say, I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. And then there's qualified immunity. So half the time when they're really saying, I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. Well, you're not going to get judged by 12, because the majority of the time it's qualified immunity that you're going to get out on that. So
it's not just qualified immunity. It's other associations and groups and ways that they will pay your bill, because there's no qualified immunity in Colorado or New Mexico, and it's no better.
There is no real recourse. And then as far as, when they say carried by 6, you start to get this mentality or this understanding like you're at freaking war with the public. But we're public servants. We're not at war with the public. But that's what is being breeded. That is what is being raised. That is exactly what you could see is taking place with the American police force today.
Well, yeah, but let's not forget, you were a part of that, bud. You were right in the thick of it. You put on your bulletproof vest and your helmet and your Punisher logo on your shoulder, and you carried the magazines on your vest, and then you had the torture cuffs right out front. You were right in it, bro, all the way before you got fired. And now you're the good cop who wasn't the bad cop, but man, you were all in it until you got fired. And now you're going to speak out, right? Now you're going to say how you did it right. I wasn't one of those guys. Look at the culture that was created. You were a part of that culture for over 2 decades, you jackboot thug pig. You were a part of the culture. You led in that culture. But now, since you got fired, now they are all bad. You're just the good one speaking out now. Okay.
That is exactly what you could see is taking place with the American police force today. One thing I could say, when I started with LAX, we had almost no shotguns in the field. It was a lot different. We didn't have a lot of ballistic shields. We didn't have a lot of firepower. And that was in 2000. When you fast forward to when I left there in 2022, every single car had a shotgun in it. Many of them had AR-15s. now we're wearing the same thing that I was wearing. I was in the United States Air Force, and I'm wearing my BDUs when I was over in Kuwait. And I found myself many, many years later working the streets of Los Angeles, dressed the exact same way, feeling the exact same way, same boots, same uniform. So it just totally became militarized. And then when you get into this,
Okay, but wait a second. Wait, hold on a second.
many of them had AR-15s. You know, now we're wearing the same thing that I was wearing. I was in the United States Air Force, and I'm wearing my BDUs when I was over in Kuwait.
Okay, but now you're saying something. Now, why didn't you say something the moment you put those BDUs on? Why didn't you say we're a domestic peacekeeping force in these United States of America? I'm not wearing BDUs. Why didn't you say it then? Oh, now you're a good cop. Now you're speaking out against the system. Now you're good. Now BDUs are bad. Now wearing the army boots, carrying a bayonet, grenades, whatever you think. Now it's bad because you got fired. But before, it was perfectly fine. Let's listen to what else he says here.
And I found myself many, many years later working the streets of Los Angeles, dressed the exact same way.
Why didn't you say something then, Mr. Good Cop? Why didn't you say something then? Word wars, whatever it is. Okay. 8 days ago in this video, I share my personal experience as an ex-police officer and discuss the culture within law enforcement. So why didn't you speak out that it shouldn't be called law enforcement? You should be called peace officers, where many officers are afraid to speak up. I guess that would have been you, bud. Guess that would have been you. I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say that you never spoke up when you were a pig, did you? Fuck you and the horse you rode in on. Really? Really? Go pound sand. Really? Really, bro? Let's keep reading. Let's read a little bit more here. While corruption exists, not all police officers are corrupt, because he wasn't, right? And many are trapped in a system, but you never tried to get out of it until you got fired. That discourages transparency. Well, where's the secret camera that you kept so you could hold them accountable? I'll dive into the challenges officers face. Oh, dive into the challenges that officers face. You mean when you got fired? When they try to do the right thing. But the funny part is, my piggy little friend, you never tried to do the right thing when you were a member of the police department. You only want to do the right thing now because you don't have the blue team to fall back on anymore. I've seen this video. Really, I already said it. F you, bro. You can sell that shit to someone else, because I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. And thanks for nothing. Thanks for nothing. Thanks for doing absolutely nothing when you knew wearing BDUs and army boots and carrying grenades and bayonets and shotguns and AR-15s. You knew it was bullshit then, but you didn't say anything till you got fired. You, bro. Really, 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 really. You piece of work, bro. You are a piece of work. You are Word Wars 101. Now you're defund the police? Now you're a whistleblower? Now you're police culture? Now you are? Now you're all those things? But you weren't when you were a little pig. Little pig, let me come in. Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. You weren't gonna budge. That door wasn't gonna open one bit when you were a pig. You didn't give a shit about us. But now that you got fired, man, police culture is out of control. Man, I can't believe what's going on in the pig culture. Now you're the good guy. Okay. But didn't you get fired? You did, right? I'm pretty sure that you did, bro. Pretty sure you got fired. I'm pretty sure you did.
Feeling the exact same way, same boots, same uniform. So
you never said anything then, did you?
Just totally became militarized.
But you never said, I don't want to dress up like an army guy in America. You never did that when you were a pig.
And then when you get into this environment, what I find is not about following the law. They could give a goddamn about the law. They don't care about the law. They care about following orders. So it doesn't matter what the law is. In fact, we're taught not to even think about what the law is. We're taught just to follow orders.
Isn't that what I just said earlier tonight? Maybe it's because I saw this guy's video yesterday or whatever. Didn't I say they don't care about us? They don't care about the rule of law. They just care about following orders. Maybe this was echoing in my head. But when you were a pig, did you say, wait a minute, I signed up to swore an oath to the Constitution to protect and defend the rights of individual Americans in this country. You didn't say a fucking word. I'm incensed. I gotta calm down here.
And then so when you think, it becomes a problem. And one of the interesting tests that I had to take when I came into the police department back in 2000 was what they call the MMPI. And this is a psychological test where they asked maybe about a couple thousand questions regarding various things. Do you hear voices? Do you see people? And it's under the guise that they're looking to see if somebody has a psychological condition. I passed it the first time. I didn't have an issue, but then I knew some other people that didn't pass it. And one interesting thing that I heard from these individuals when they didn't pass the test, they were advised by the psychologist to don't think about the answer, just answer the first thing that comes to mind. So that's really important. So in order to pass the test, they said, don't think, just do the first thing that comes to mind. Well, that always became, and I used to operate like that as a police officer. I would just say, somebody give me an order and I say, go. But then as I got longer into this, I start to actually read the law and ask questions. I didn't always just accept that. I would start to ask questions. And instead everybody else is just go, and they're already going on like, hey, Sarge, Chief, whatever. Look what this says. This isn't what the law says. That is not what they want in the police department. So that's why you don't have many good cops left, because it's impossible almost to have a good cop, because if you say something, I'm telling you, they will blackball you or you won't be promoted. You think they're going to promote somebody else? Each time you get a promotion, sometimes it can be up to $30,000 to $40,000. You think they want to get that position. So they don't want to make anybody think that they're rocking the boat. So then that person rises and rises through the department, and he never opens his mouth. You know how many people I started off with in the department that say they know exactly what I'm saying is 100% right, but they just fall in orders because they want to get that next paycheck. So that's what happens. Out of our entire department, we knew the department was utilizing fraudulent forms to implement the COVID-19 certain rules against the vaccinated individuals, not the entire COVID-19 ordinance, because some of it was passed through the legislative process, but many things were not passed through the legislative process, and they were violating the employees' rights, my coworkers' rights. And these individuals would come to me and knew 100% what was going on, and I would explain it to them. But how many of them stood up? Out of a department, we had 500 officers and maybe about 200 sergeants, so maybe 700 or 800 people. And out of all those individuals, I knew of 4 that actually put their name to something. No, three other ones plus myself that actually put their name to something and would actually file a complaint or do whatever else that was required. So out of that many, 700, and we got 4. So that's why it appears there's no good police officers, because they're all going along with that system.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, bro. I'm so sorry, Piggy. I'm so sorry. So let me get it straight here.
4.
So I don't know what the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, what you guys put your name to something, but nothing changed. There's still torture cuffs. There's still beatings. There's still caging.
So that's why
it appears
there's no good police officers, because they're all going along with that system. So I hope that's just a little bit of my intake. Like I said, I was out there for 24 years, seen it. My entire family's been in it. So
your entire family's been in it.
Like I said, I was out there for 24 years.
You were in there for 24 years, but you were a good one. You wore the army boots and you never questioned it. But now that you're not a pig anymore, now you question it.
My entire family's been in it. So I think I can talk about this competently. That's why. That's what you're seeing.
Oh, so there's good ones. We just don't see it because they can't say anything. So then there's no good ones because good men stand up even when it's hard.
Peace. See you in the next video. Like and subscribe.
Yeah, sure thing, bro. So he's got some videos here. He's got 455 subscribers. And the reason why this guy, okay, Officer Sour Grapes, got left out of the good bag. This guy right here, bro, I'll have you on. Come on, let's have a conversation. But we saw what happened the last time I had a conversation with a copper. You saw what happened last time I had a conversation with an ex-cop. You still have those pig tendencies in your heart. You still see us as the bad guy. Well, you's a good one. And that's how you see it. Yeah. I mean, I'll try to stomach another one of this guy's videos. It's going to be tough to do. This was his most popular video here. And then right here, this is 4 minutes and 21 seconds. Fired for standing up for the Constitution. Reinstated and fired again, I think it says here. Reinstated and retaliated against. So he's got this really stupid song, Word Wars. I don't know how stupid it is, but the song is terrible. No, I can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. Am I shocked he's got bad taste in music? Not at all. Okay, the music's gone. So if the music's gone, we can stomach another video here.
Oath of office. I want to talk about it. I recently did a video, and in the title it says, "Are all cops corrupt?" And absolutely, I don't think all cops are corrupt, but I think it's a culture and it's a system that individuals get involved with.
No. Beta male follower losers. Losers who cannot do anything besides follow orders. You're not an alpha male if you're a cop, bro. You're a dependent on the state. You're a parasite. You're a leech. You're a succubus. You're an octopus where you got to suck off other people. You can't do anything on your own. You see, I made a little business out of making sure that people would plead the Fifth Amendment. On my Trifold, you get it on deletelaws.com. I made a business because I'm not a dependent upon the state. You are. If you're a cop, you have to be a parasite to live and suck off the host. So that's what this guy is. A lot of individuals get involved with, but I think it's a culture, a lot of individual dependent beta males and beta females.
I think it's a culture and it's a system that individuals get involved with. So they're not necessarily corrupt, but they often allow the corruption to occur and happen. But I'm going to tell you, I was one of the ones that I can truly say fought constantly against the corruption.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
And happen. But I'm going to tell you, I was one of the ones that I can truly say fought constantly against the corruption.
Okay, fine. Okay. You want to talk your shit, bro? Okay, cool. No problem. Here's the link in the chat. Do me a favor. Go over to this video right here. I'm going to put that in the chat right there. Here's the link for the video. There it is. Okay. Go to this guy's chat and tell him if he fought for our rights and he fought for us, then Delete Laws would love to have you on his show and find out exactly what corruption fighting you did. How were you a pig for 24 years when you said that pigs get blackballed for standing up for what's right? But you were one of the ones that always stood up for the Constitution. Okay, fine. I'll give you a fair shot. I won't call you an ex-pig. I won't say you were a demon. I won't say any of those things. But you believe that you stood up for us, as you said, I shouldn't be wearing Army BDUs, you put them on. I shouldn't be wearing Army boots, you put them on. You said I shouldn't be carrying an AR-15, you carried one. I shouldn't have a shotgun, you got one. I shouldn't put people in torture cuffs, you put people in torture cuffs. I shouldn't take people to cages, you took people to cages. So You were the one that fought against corruption. Okay, bro, welcome to Delete Laws. Come on the show. Let me show you guys. I'll even let you know. Okay. I'll bite. Sorry about that. Let me zoom in here for you so you guys can see what I'm writing here. Sorry about that. I made the screen a little bit too big. There it is. Let's see.
I didn't know always about the Constitution. I didn't even understand it. I can admit, I started in 2000, and when I first became awoke to the Constitution was in 2008, and I went to a special seminar, and it opened my eyes. And then from that point in time, once I figured it out and learned it and did my research, I utilized my position within the department to reach the officers that I could. So what happened was from 2004 to 2016, I was on the union on the board of directors. So I used to represent officers when they had internal affairs or they had issues within the department. I acted as a representative for them. So within that time frame, I moved up to the treasurer of the union. So from 2011 to 2012, I was the treasurer. And then at that point in time, the union, we put out a magazine to the officers. And in there, I wrote an article to the officers talking about their oath of office and the importance of it. Here's the article. There in the article, it's entitled Oath of Office. Okay. And it says every police officer in this country takes an oath of office to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States. This means each officer has a fiduciary responsibility to the public and the LAXPD to understand and protect the Constitution. Recently, I took a survey and asked the questions to multiple LAXPD officers and sheriffs. And to my surprise, not one had ever read the Constitution. I then posed another question to those individuals. How can one defend and protect something they have never read? The majority of responses I received were that the Constitution is outdated and does not apply to the laws today. In the middle of the article,
what does he say here?
And protect something they have never read. The majority of responses I received were that the Constitution is outdated. And
the majority of the responses that I received took a survey and asked the question to multiple LAXPD pigs. And to not my surprise, not one had read the Constitution. I then posed another question to those individuals. How can one defend and protect something they never read? The majority response we received was that the Constitution is outdated and does not apply to the laws today. After 11 years of being a pig, I must also admit that I had never read the Constitution until this summer. After reading all 7 articles and 27 amendments of the Constitution, it changed my understanding of how I interact with the public. The Constitution is a contract with the people and the government. So the Constitution is what you call the rule of law. It gives the guidelines of how we interact with the public. Article 6, Clause 2 states this Constitution and the laws of the United States, which shall be made in pursuant thereof, all treaties made of which may be made under the authority of the United States shall be the supreme law of the land. And the judges in every state shall be bound. Oh, and the judges in every state are disgusting. Anything the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary notwithstanding, in layman's term, this simply means if a statute, statute, ordinance, code, or rule is in conflict with the Constitution, it has no standing in law. There is a large movement in this country, and the citizens are demanding the officers uphold their oath to the office. There's a good chance that you may get challenged on the various points of the Constitution, and we need to be prepared with knowledge and understanding. I encourage each officer to obtain a copy of the Constitution and Bill of Rights and read them over until you fully understand the information. Failure to understand these principles could lead to a civil or criminal liability against yourself or the department. So is that him, Rodney Ruzon? So let's do a little research on this. His name is Rodney Ruzon. Rodney, that's him. That's his name, Rodney Ruzon, LAXPD. LAX cop.
And does not apply to the laws today. In the middle of the article, you can see it says, I encourage each officer to obtain a copy of the Constitution and Bill of Rights and read them over and over until you fully understand the information. Now, this was written in 2011. I wrote this article. Now, after writing this article, it took 6 months and I was terminated from my employment. Right now, this is my second termination in 2024 in my career. In 2012, I was also terminated for a whole different incident. And I had to represent myself, and I got reinstated with absolutely no discipline because it was a bogus case the department had brought against me. But it just showed they framed me. It shows the veracity that they have to go through, or what they'll go to get rid of you when you start talking about the Constitution and waking the other officers up. So I did my part. I did everything that I could, but I always knew that if I fought for what's right, I would lose my job. But I was willing to go the highest cost because this is how important I believe the Constitution is.
It only took 24 years for him to get there. 24 years later, now he's all in.
And this is how important I think it is just for our own protection. Because if you don't have the Constitution, it's a wrap. That's what this country is made on.
No, so let me jump in a little bit here, bro. Rodney, let me help out a little bit, okay? So there were several steps here, but the Constitution was ratified in 1789. Then you had James Madison, who was previously a Federalist, who then moved over to the side to be on with Thomas Jefferson, because before Madison was on the same side as Monroe. Monroe, Washington, Adams, John Adams, these are some of the founding fathers. And so these guys, George Washington, John Adams, Monroe, you guys have all heard of Hamilton, and James Madison were all on the side of a Federalist system that gave the feds more power than the states. Then James Madison in 1789, after the Constitution was ratified, then he joined with Patrick Henry and said, no, we cannot move forward until there's a Bill of Rights inserted. So then in 1791, the Bill of Rights got inserted. There were 12 amendments. They knocked them down to 10. And matter of fact, the 27th Amendment, that doesn't, it was ratified in 1993 by Bill Clinton, which gave the Congress the right to give themselves a raise in the next session. But that was originally written in 1790. So then after that, was it 1992? Was that right? I could be mistaken, because you're going to have, anyway, so I don't want to get too distracted. So then the entire thing, our whole focus back in 1791 was that we have these Bill of Rights. And that's what you're standing up for. You're not standing up for the Constitution. The Constitution is an inherently racist document that was created it's about the Bill of Rights, Rodney, just in case. I don't want to get too lost here.
So that's just my take. I stood up and I did my part. So like and subscribe. See you in the next video.
Well, Rodney, let's have you on and let's hear you talk. So
For years, I am 100% a proponent of the rear naked choke because it will end issues. Now I am gonna tell you, it will, trained properly, will put people in cuffs faster than anything, right? But when you have cops who are not trained, now you have them using more force than necessary because they don't know how to put people in handcuffs. That's where you have the baton brought out, the taser, the pepper spray. Again, I'll go back to it. The more properly you are trained, the less force you use. And it takes 1 to 2 cops to put somebody in cuffs versus a pit bull.
Well, so you're getting into a couple things so Dom, I also am trained. I taught MMA for a lot of years. I fought in the world champions of, I'm going to fast forward this. Right. So So now I know the rear naked choke. I teach it. But for you to come on here and say that you endorse the rear naked choke, I'd like you to go through your thoughts and re-examine your position. We have seen now.
If you were a cop and you had that training, I'd be 100% fine with you doing it. 100% fine. The problem is, ask me how often cops are trained or have to do annual certification. Just because I'm okay with it doesn't mean I want it on the street, because you don't have things executed properly. And we can talk about firearms training. Do you think that every single cop should achieve a perfect score with their firearm on the range?
No, I think they should be disarmed, all of them. Take away all of their guns.
My point is, we only have a pass or fail on the range.
Right.
Too many cops can't fucking shoot. So if they can't shoot, they can't apply tactics properly. It's such a slippery slope. I like a tactic, doesn't mean, and then again, I'll be careful about my words. I endorse it because I know how safe it is.
Endorse what? Endorse what, Dom?
The rear naked choke. And it's a whole different article.
It just, so, you know, to be fair to Dominic Izzo, even though he's, you know, said some things about me, it's fine. To be fair to Izzo, this was one of my first interviews in 2020 where I had someone on, and I read later about how to interview people. And even if your guest triggers you, don't be triggered. Just let them finish their thoughts and allow the audience just to judge them. But instead, he triggered me. This is right after the 2020 protests of George Floyd, where they had kneeled on his guy's neck for 8 minutes and 17 seconds or however long it was. And so when Izzo comes on my program, which was on TikTok at the time, and I recorded this interview, actually someone else recorded this and sent it to me. He was saying how he endorses the rear naked choke. And I said, wow. Well, you're going to hear, I'm going to kind of blow up on him a little bit here, and I don't mean to, but I do. Endorse what, Dom?
The rear naked choke. And it's a whole different article, a whole different conversation.
What are you talking about, Dom? What are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about? What in the flying are you talking about? You can't go on here and talk about killing people using a rear naked choke and say that you endorse it. Because what happens is, Dom, we got that piece of garbage in New York, who I don't even say his name, I don't give him any fame, who choked out Eric Garner on film, and he's still a cop. If you have
It's a whole different topic, and I'll go by this. It's like I said, could you apply the rear naked choke to me without killing me?
I know how, I'm a trained freaking fighter, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. In a perfect world, Dom, if I got you in a real naked choke and I was lucky enough to get in that position in a one-on-one fight, then maybe I could apply it so I don't choke you out or kill you. However, when you put your arms around someone's neck and another guy wearing blue runs up and jumps on top of you, if he jumps on my back and I crush like this on top of you, it's just like this abortion law. Once you pass the abortion law in Texas, a girl who got raped, a girl who got gang raped, a girl who has a baby that's going to kill her. Once you pass the absolute, I mean, Dom, you've only been out of policing for a couple years, but the idea let me just take a breath. So let me understand something here. So he triggered me because he said he fully endorses the rear naked choke. Now, look, Izzo, since this interview, it's been 3 years. Maybe he's evolved a little bit, because when you grab someone around the neck and you start to choke them and you're a pig, then what happens is other pigs jump on you too. So my arm might get stuck on his neck where there's someone on top of me, because the pigs are disorganized pigs and they don't know what they're doing at all whatsoever. And so this is, I mean, if I could do it again, I probably wouldn't have gone off on the guy. I probably wouldn't have been as intense. I learned a lot by how to interview people. I read a lot of information, and I would have just said, oh, you endorse rear naked choke, and I would have given him more rope. Well, tell me more about it. But I was new. I'd only been doing, this was like one of my first interviews ever, where I had hundreds of thousands of people who followed me, and I was doing this interview with him. And since then, he said he doesn't like me. All right. That's cool. You don't have to like me. A lot of people don't like me. Get in line.
Okay. When I watch a fight, when I watch a cops trying to do this ridiculously bumbling thing like put your hands behind your back, which is the most retarded stupidity I've ever seen. We live in a digital era. I can walk up to me, even if I'm in a fist fight with someone on the street and go like, yo, dude, you're on camera. I'm a cop. I'm recording you. I'm going to show this to the judge. That changes all of detainment policies. That changes everything. The reason why cops now get arrested for breaking our civil liberties isn't because policing is better. It's because of the camera. So you no longer need to choke people out. You know, they arrested Eric Garner for selling Lucy cigarettes and they murdered him with a rear naked choke.
2014.
I literally cried for a week, like sobbed for a man I never knew and never will meet. And so the idea that you would endorse something that's so barbaric.
We're not going to agree on everything. So it's like I'm going from a perspective of what could have made a cop's job easy.
And to his credit, he tried to get me to back up off of the lump in my throat. And I do hear, I kind of let it go. I wish I could have done it better then. I really do, you know, and I feel bad for kind of jump. Well, I don't. I mean, someone tells me I endorse rear naked chokes for police. What's going to be my response? No. Is a chokehold the most effective way to restrain somebody? Yes, it is. Should police be doing it? No, they shouldn't. You can bake chocolate chip cookies at home. You ever see the recipe for baking chocolate chip cookies from the government? It's unbelievable. I think it was baking a cake. Look up how to bake a cake, the directions from the government, and it is just so screwy. You and I could bake a cake, no problem. Yeah. I know it. So if Izzo sees this, because I've mentioned you a few times in the past couple months since I saw your show and you said, I don't like you, Chili, because you call cops pigs. You call cops pigs too, Izzo. So no, Chili, he has most assuredly not evolved. He flip-flops, is incoherent, but he hadn't evolved or grown. I agree with that. And the reason why I say that is because I watched his assessment recently of the cop who sat there and was looking all cute and was like, oh, I see you. Go ahead. Just go. Just go. You can sit there all day and do this. And I'm just going to let you go. If I see you speeding, I'm just going to hit my brakes. Remember that guy? Well, Izzo did a coverage of him and the contradictions left and right. And so I'm not like Izzo. I actually like Izzo. I just don't like his allegiance to the thin blue line and his obsession with loving being a law enforcer. And again, here's another cop who got fired that now is the good cop. He's exposing the bad cops and he is exposing them, but he says the same things that I do. But for some reason, me saying it is bad, but him saying it is okay. So anyway, I'll let it play a couple more seconds here.
I don't give a fuck I don't want to make it.
We're not going to agree on everything. So it's like I'm going from a perspective of what could have made a cop's job easy.
I don't give a fuck I don't want to make a cop's job easier. I don't give a shit about that cop. I want to film that cop.
You want the cop's job easier when it comes down to using as least force possible when putting somebody in a
choking me.
If necessary. If we can, this is splitting hairs at this point. My point is, in a perfect world to level the playing field, I would want the best trained people out there on the planet. I would want, in every aspect of it, laws, tactics, you name it. It's not going to happen. It's just in a perfect world scenario.
So, but the thing is, Dom, is that I have fought 1,000 guys in my life.
I'm not going to let it go.
Far more. Before I was 20 on the street, I fought hundreds. So I've been in hundreds of fist fights, right? There's no such thing as a fair rear naked choke. There's no such thing as doing it right. Once you put your arms around someone's throat and you start to cut the oxygen off to the brain, you are talking about brain damaging someone because you want to be in control of them. When the truth is, we don't have defensive apparatus created for policing. We don't have bulletproof shields that they can carry and they go, hey, you're on camera, guys, stop fighting. And those guys decide to keep fighting. We show it to the judge. We get the barbarians off the street. People come on here all the time and say, oh, you're for, no, I'm for rule of law. I'm for rule of order. What I'm not for, though, is a violent, vicious apparatus to enforce that rule of law, that rule of order. So you kind of...
Police can enforce. It all goes back to changing the laws what police can enforce. Because again, if cops can arrest you for a baggie of weed, right? And this is how this escalates. People don't get. I have to get my points for that night. I know you're a gang member. I've never smoked weed, but I agree it's the most harmless shit on the planet, right? You got it on you. I need those points. You give me attitude. I say put your hand behind your back. You resist me. It escalates all the way up to these problems.
Right.
That's the problem. You have to change what cops enforce if you want change done.
So I gotta.
Well, any cop in the world can just say that they're reasonably articulably suspicious of you, and then you go in torture cuffs. But I just wanted to show you guys how I actually talk to ex-cops when they come in with their bullshit. So Rodney, if you come on my show and you actually want to have a conversation, listen, I am what I am, man. I am what I am. And no matter if YouTube kills my channel or TikTok deletes my accounts or Facebook or Instagram deletes my Instagram account like they just did, you guys can't fucking stop me. You can't stop me. If you want to stop me, you're going to have to kill me, because I'm going to get into power and I'm going to change all those policies. I'm going to change every police policy there is. I'm going to get rid of Terry versus Ohio. So I'm just saying. You don't come around here with your bullshit and think you're going to tell me. That's why I fully endorse the rear naked choke, because you're going to hear me go, and you're fucked up, bro. And sorry for the language tonight. I'm a little bit off kilter a little bit after watching that black woman.
Federal lawsuit against the city of Elyria over a controversial police raid.
Yeah, the family of a baby who was injured during the raid is suing the city, its police chief, and several officers. Courtney Price and her 17-month-old son were inside a home on Parmalee Avenue back in January when Elyria's special response team raided it as part of an investigation.
They used flashbangs before entering, which the lawsuit claims sent the baby to the ICU.
Yeah.
Mitty Hicks has been coming through that lawsuit and joins us now with the tales. Mitty, what do we know?
Well, Russ and Lena, we know the baby spent 10 days in the ICU after that police raid. According to the lawsuit, he and his mom moved to the area because the baby was supposed to undergo heart surgery at UH Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital. But that was delayed for something that had nothing to do with them. That's part of the reason why this family is suing Elyria Police and the city.
Police search warrant, come to the door!
Shortly after, police raided this home where
You guys remember we covered this with, it was literally 36 cops going to a house.
Courtney Price and her 17.
I mean, look at that. How ridiculously stupid does that look? You could put a camera right. Do you see that? Do you see that lush, beautiful lawn right there? Do you guys see the lush, beautiful lawn right there? They could stick a camera on a stick. This is my little trimmer. So they could put a camera on a stick right there in the front yard with a little sign on it that says, "Do not touch." Or you could be prosecuted with a 4-way camera on top, one in the front, one in the back, and say, "You're wanted for a warrant. You're under arrest. And this is a siege where no more food or water gets in or out." And eventually the person's going to have to come out, and then you wouldn't have to go to someone's house and do that. You mean use technology? Yeah. You could put a camera in that front yard and you don't need 36 pigs stomping around in their front yard. Could you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Someone came in earlier and said they were here for Bow. What's going on, Bow? Are you watching Playboy? Are you watching? You know, if you came over here for Bow, let me just say, I'm not about the fodder for YouTube. You know, I'm not about the bullshit and the drama. If Bow wants to do some filming, I'll do some filming with Bow, but I'm not going to do the YouTube bullshit. So you can pass that message on along to him.
Month-old baby were still.
Police search warrant, come to the door!
Look at his backpack.
And the city.
Police search warrant, come to the door!
Look what's in his backpack. Look what's in the backpack. Look at these G.I. Joe losers.
Shortly after, police raided this home where Courtney Price and her 17-month-old baby were staying. They realized they had the wrong home.
Whoa. It's a long house. We're up here.
But the door was knocked down by then, and the baby, who was inside using a respirator to help him breathe, inhaled smoke from the flashbang officers used. The baby spent 10 days in the ICU, according to a new federal lawsuit the family filed Thursday. This incident delayed what he and his mom moved here for, which was his heart surgery. The child's mom, Courtney Price, told 3 News back in January the incident left her stunned.
To hear in the video, you can hear me scream. I think I just said, I'm scared. I said, my baby's in here. He's on a ventilator.
And now, nearly 9 months to the date since this all happened, and almost 4 months since the Lorain County Sheriff's Office completed their investigation.
Oh, can you believe it? I'm pretty sure. Does that say what I think it does? Ohio. Oh, man. Matter of fact, I've even been to that police department. I got a video of it.
Concluding Elyria police followed procedures. The family is seeking justice. Attorneys representing the 2 sisters and the baby claim officers violated the family's civil rights. We counted 9 charges in the lawsuit. The family is suing the city and police officers for unreasonable search and seizure, unlawful use of excessive force, assault, battery, and more. They're asking for about $750,000 in damages plus court costs. The lawsuit also claims officers acted recklessly because prior to the raid, they were informed at least 3 times that the 12-year-old suspect they were looking for in connection with a stolen gun did not live there, and he had no relation to this family. The landlord backed these claims when she told an Elyria detective that the home was unoccupied for more than 2 weeks before the new tenants moved in.
Are you sure this property is empty? Why don't you go look around? My property is empty, and the last renter actually left more than 15 days ago.
Now
Wow. So, someone created a username card called Charlie the dog, which is my dog. I don't know if that's a picture of my dog or not, but then they wrote here, 50-year-old alone, streaming on a Friday night, beta male. Okay. I'm going to go with your assessment. 50 years old, total loser, streaming alone. You don't know if there's anybody around me, but hey, just go with what you're saying. That's just, okay. Look at you. You are a troll, created a fake username using my dog and sent me $5. The loser who's 50 and alone streaming on Friday. And you called me a beta male while you're one of the 250 people watching my stream. Oh, the irony. Oh, the irony. Sorry. I just have to laugh. I'm sorry. It just the irony. Calling me a loser as you give me $5.
Are you sure this property is empty? Why don't you go look around? My property is empty, and the last renter actually left more than 15 days ago.
Now, we reached out to the family's attorneys. They tell 3 News, quote, "We don't like to comment on ongoing cases, but we do intend to zealously represent the family so we can get justice for them. We don't have any word on the condition of the child at this time, but the attorneys say in the lawsuit that this incident has scarred the family and caused extreme financial hardship." Russ?
Okay, Mitty Hicks here in the studio with us. Thank
Minnie Hicks, you're in the studio with us. He tells her where she is. What a disgust. I mean, so if you're a human being and you sign up to be a cop in America, What kind of loser are you? What kind of loser are you? Did you just see the 36 cops at this woman's house and then they raided the wrong house? I mean, take a look at that, bro. You want to sign up to be one of those guys dressed in all black with your AR-15 going running in someone's front lawn? And by the way, you know, you're at an inferior position. You're below the windows at an inferior position. They're standing in the yard. They would all get mowed down if someone actually wanted to fight the police. If they were equipped with the same kind of weapons the cops have, you're at an inferior position. Anybody who knows basic war strategies, you're not going to stand in the front yard when there's a window 10 feet up in the air. Bunch of dumb pigs. Bunch of dumb. How could you want to sign up to be a cop and do that to people? How could you want to do it? How could you say, I think I'll sign up to be a pig in America. Look at what I get to do to people. What's wrong with you, bro? What's wrong with you? Are you so miserable that you were such a geek, or that you were such a jock, or you were cool in high school, or you were a dork in high school? I don't know what it is for you, bro. But what makes people see a video like this and go, I think I'll sign up to do this? Wow. Just wow. How do you agree to do that to people? It's because of this right here. Here's the reason why they want to do it right here. See this right here?
Crash unfold outside the Gold Mine General Store in Catawba County. Surveillance video clearly shows the moment the deputy lost control of his SUV while trying to avoid a pickup truck pulling out from the Dollar General across the street. Elmer Evans heard about the crash and watched the video of that deputy strike 3 parked cars while narrowly missing a customer.
He done all he can do to keep from, in my opinion, to keep from killing anybody. But
he done all. Did he say he done all he can do? I'll tell you what, Cletus, he done all he could do. So there's no reason to be going this fast. You're not saving a baby. There's no kidnapped children that you're going to rescue from a savage Tarzan.
Strike 3 parked cars.
So he's driving entirely too fast for that tiny little town.
While narrowing.
Now he had to swerve over to miss that. There's a telephone pole. He misses the telephone pole. Airbags deploy right away.
Customer.
he done all he can do to keep.
He done all he can do, Cletus. I'll tell you that right now.
From, in my opinion, to keep from killing anybody. But the other car pulled out in front of him. In my opinion, it's not his fault.
A viewer shared these photos of the damage to the deputy's SUV. The sheriff's office says he was responding to a 911 hang-up call, and that it's always up to a deputy and his or her supervisor.
I'm so sorry. What did he just say? What did he just say? The sheriff's office says he was responding.
911 hang-up call.
He was responding to a 911 hang-up call.
The deputy's SUV. The sheriff's office says he was responding to a 911 hang-up call, and that it's always up to a deputy and his or her supervisor whether to activate blue lights.
He was responding to a 911 call where the other person hung up. And so he's racing there as fast as he can.
SUV. The sheriff's office says
and it's always up to the pig who's a moron.
He was responding to a 911 hang-up call, and that it's always up to a deputy.
It's always up to a deputy. Why are we still going with these slave catcher terms? Why? Why are we still calling them sheriff and deputy? Why are we doing that? Don't you think they should change to peace officers? Why are they wearing black and blue? Why aren't they wearing white and yellow? Why is their name a half-inch little name tag right here? Why isn't their name across their chest? Because they want to make sure, and now they're blurring the body camera so you can't see them say, I'm hot. James Sheets. It's up to the deputy.
And his or her supervisor whether to activate blue lights and sirens.
At least 20 times.
Amanda Wright's family has property right across the street. She says her mailbox has been knocked down more than a dozen times by wrecks along the busy road. She believes deputies should use their blue lights if they're traveling well above the 45-mile-per-hour posted speed limit here. At the intersection today, we spotted first responders doing
Just such a joke. Just such a joke. We're our country, with what we have allowed to happen, what we have allowed to happen in our country is our fault. Take two thumbs and put them right in your chest. It's your fault. It's my fault. We're Gen X. So it was the boomers and the greatest generation who militarized and created this police state that we live in. It was Earl Warren. Earl Warren is so celebrated as the liberal justice, and he had some great cases. He really did some great stuff. Then to give the cops a bone on his way out, he retires in 1969, but then in 68, after he passes Mapp versus Ohio in 1961, Miranda versus Arizona in 1966, Kent versus Doles in 1958, did some really good stuff, but then decimated our Fourth Amendment, decimated it with Terry versus Ohio. And that's what we're looking at today is this horrible police state, prison state that we live in the United States of America. And that's really what we're facing here today.
In the year,
let me go back here 1 second. Give me, I'm not going to play this whole thing. I'm just going to play about 3 minutes of this just real quick.
In the year 2002, I was no-knock raided by the chief of police, Michael Moore, of LAPD with an entire SWAT team twice in the same month. Since that date, I began studying the history of America and constitutional law. I am an autodidactic constitutional law scholar. Over the past couple years, what I've done is I've been able to devise a system, understanding that the police have created a very rigid set of policies, procedures, and protocols that they use to arrest you. I've also created a very rigid set of policies, procedures, and protocols for you to follow that gives you back the power when you're forced to interact with these jackboot thugs. It has become a tyrannical jackboot thug police state, prison state, death state. I will win the governorship and I will change the policies from the top down.
Hi, I'm Corporal William with the Ozaukee County Sheriff's Office. The reason I pulled you over is you don't have any tail lights on.
So cops got me pulled over. First thing I'm going to do when I start recording is I'm going to put this hand right here. You see that? You see how that works? This hand is now up in the air. My camera is going to bright up the sky. So if it's nighttime, then the coppers can see that the camera is in my hand. You can see that my hand is here. The other hand goes up into the window. I'm in touchdown position right here. My hands look like they're a goalpost. This hand is actually, I took my little miniature armrest right here. I put it up right here. Bam. This is how I use my trifold. If anything happens to me, I'm all set right here. Okay, now that I got this like this, my camera's rolling. Most important thing. Second thing, my elbow goes in the windowsill right there. Do you see that? My elbow goes in the windowsill right there. There it is, right there. Now, with this hand up in the air and this hand up in the windowsill right here, I'm all set. I'm all set. The most I'm going to do is take the same hand right here, reach down and slightly roll my window down just a scooch. I'm all set up. I'm in touchdown position. This hand is rolling camera. This hand is up here so that I can reach up and grab my trifold and my proof of identification and my license. Everything is up in my visor. When that copper comes up to my window and he says, "Do you know why I pulled you over? Do you know how fast you were going? How come you didn't pull over right away?" If he says, "Hey, can I get your license, registration, and proof of insurance?" Great, because this hand is not going to have a camera in it. The one that I got my hand in now, my camera's in this hand over here. I'm in touchdown position, just like a goalpost. Now from right here, I'm going to reach over and I'm going to, with the same hand that this phone's in, I'm going to reach over and grab my license, registration, and proof of insurance that is in my trifold right here. It's inside my trifold. Here's my license, registration, and proof of insurance right there. I got everything right there. See how that works? I'm just going to slide that bad chicken out. There's everything I have to provide by law right there. License, registration, proof of insurance. I have everything right next to my trifold. Now, no matter what he says from there, I don't care what he says. How fast were you going? Are you going to your grandma's house? Are you the big bad wolf? No matter what he says, I'm not going to answer any of his questions.
I take my license, registration, proof of insurance that will be in my left hand, and I give it to him.
You got it on
This is
video?
not your actual.
No, that's not that, but that's got my DL number right on the top.
Okay.
D1940.
So you have your actual driver's license?
Well, I mean, that is an actual photocopy of my driver's license, a laser copy. Actually, if I take the rest of the tape off there, it looks prettier than my actual driver's license.
There you go.
And he accepted that. I never gave him my real physical plastic identification. That never happened. So that means if you get a copy of your driver's license, copy of it, make a photo. Obviously, I'm not Denzel Washington. This is a Hollywood driver's license. You get on Hollywood Boulevard. You make a photocopy of the front and the back of your driver's license. Thanks for coming, William. I'm about to shut this bad chicken down now. Listen, trifolds are $12 right now. Trifolds are $12. I'm going to raise the price on Monday. I lowered them down real low because I had to raise the price of shipping, but I have to raise them up a little bit. I have to. I have no choice. Life is a weird road. It's a weird road. All right. I'm up at 5:00 in the morning. What is going on? Alaska Inley. Alaska only has 2 auditors. I've seen that. I've seen that they only have 2 auditors. I've seen that. I have seen that for sure. Did I see Bree in here earlier? I thought I saw Bree Pennington. I see Jennifer. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, Bree. Drop down in the comment section. OTVO overturned Terry versus Ohio. Remember, trifolds are $12 right now. They're going to go up on Monday. I got to raise the price back up. Shipping is $10.55. I charge $11. You guys get tracking numbers now on every trifold. So I'm not going to deal with, I didn't get it. If you put the wrong address in, I'm going to charge you for shipping again, because I'm going to ship to the address that you put on the website. And I'm to the point now where if I make less money, that's okay. I need to make a little bit more than I'm making because I dropped them to 12. It's a little too low. But at the same time, I want to make sure that everybody can get one. And I still email off free trifolds all the time. So if you can't afford the 12, I'm going to raise it to $15 or $16. When I raise the price, if you can't afford it, I'll email it to you for free. It's black and white, so you can print it out. It won't use all your ink, and I'll email it to you for free. You can buy the print at home one for $9, but if you don't have the $9, I'll give it to you for free. Mike, what is going on, my friend? Great Liberty Net Radio. Good to see you, my friend. Complying Borg is here. Bronson Vanderlip. Man, there's a lot of Bronsons in there. Good to see you. Bree, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Kinetic Customs and Racing, Jennifer Hill, thank you so much. Grateful Dabs, good to see you. Plead the Fifth, thanks for the super chats. It was good to see you. Really, it was nice to see you. I haven't seen you in a minute. Kinetics Customs and Racing, April Rain, shipped off. I have women's t-shirts in stock. If you guys didn't know that, I have every size of women's t-shirts in stocks. Shoot me a text or an email, and I will ship one out to you. I have women's t-shirts in stock. Kyle, what is going on? Top Rock, how are you? Nice to see you. What's the matter, you? Kevin Brzezinski, Small Miracle Garages. Jim, thank you so much. Alaska Audits, thanks for coming. Guidelines UK. I didn't see Chevy. I saw Cope Dog. Mikey B, I guess he just got arrested. I guess Team DLZ, thanks for coming. I appreciate it. Ghost Trucker, really appreciate you guys coming. I will get the Milena, great comments tonight. I appreciate it. Rights On was in here. Plead the Fifth. You got to get a t-shirt. You got to get a t-shirt. You got to get a t-shirt. Anyway, I'm going to get the flock out of here. Thank you so much for coming to my TED Talk. I will see you guys on the next one. Later, Gators.